beautiful night of racing. I'm Kevin Boucher. Alongside me is Eric Fernasiglio, and we'll bring you all the action for tonight's racing action. Before we begin, of course, we want to thank all of our weekly supporters. Budweiser, the king of beers, proud to be pouring here at the Seekonk Speedway. Pepsi Cola on tap at the concession stands around the Speedway. Of course, we sponsor ambulance service with us. New England Dodge dealers and the beautiful 1999 Dodge Dakota RT sports truck. We'll see that just a little bit later on. And of course, we'd like to welcome CompuTrust Computer Systems and Exide Batteries on hand to present tonight's racing action. CompuTrust Computer Systems, for all your computer needs, they've got a display up on the midway just next to Victory Lane behind turn number 4. So stop on down there and play a game of NASCAR 3, I believe they have going on up there, so stop by. Before we go any further, we have one announcement to make. If anybody has lost a piece of jewelry tonight, stop down at the main gate and see the officer. He may have exactly what you are missing. All you have to do is be able to identify it, so stop down there. Full night of racing. We have all 5 of our divisions on top. The NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stock, the Exide Short Track Sportsman Division, the Excel Charger Street Stocks, the Formula 4s, and the Seekonk Sports Trucks all on hand for tonight's racing action. They'll be coming out in just a little bit. To start tonight's racing action, I want to remind you, next Saturday night, the Pro Stocks run twin 30-lappers. That's right, just like last week. We've got 2 30-lap main events for the Pro Stocks, and that is to put us in line with the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series regional standings and get us to the required race dates for the Pro Stocks. So twin 30-lappers for them. Next Sunday, we're on hand for our Labor Day Spectacular. A lot going on. We'll tell you more about that later on this evening. Coming up on September the 16th, we've got a 100-lap open competition event. Got a little preview of that in practice today as Jimmy McCallum, the Outlaw, was down practicing for that event. He can't run tonight. The car's not legal for a Saturday night event, but nothing stopping him from coming down and turning a few laps in practice to get that car dialed in. The following week, September the 23rd, the Sportsman Division have their 100-lap open competition event, and the Street Stocks have a 50-lap open competition main event for them as well. That's September the 23rd. We end our points early this year, September the 9th. We're on hand, and 50-lappers for the Pro Stocks, and a full night of racing then. We'll end all of our points in all 5 of our divisions on September the 9th. If by chance Mother Nature does decide to cancel us out on the 9th, we'll be here on the 10th as a rain date. Hopefully we won't need that, but a lot going on coming up for the rest of the season. First racing event is out on the racetrack. Formula 4s, 8 laps the distance. First heat event rolls off onto the racetrack. Formula 4 is the first of 2 heats, and Derek has the lineup.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Starting on the poles, number 11 of Mike Chatterley. He's out of North Kingstown, Rhode Island, with Bob Broder in the DiStefano attorney at law. Starting on the outside of row number 1, he's out of Coventry, Rhode Island, the number 13. The third spot will go to last week's feature event winner, Adam Murphy out of Rochester, Massachusetts, the Tom Barboza construction-sponsored automobile, with Kyle Casper on the outside of row number 2. He's out of Somerset, Mass. Joey Silver will roll up next in the C&G rigging number 36 with Brian Vincent of the number 8 on the outside. He's a former feature winner here this year. And Josh Hawkins out of South Attleboro, Mass. In the number 00, he'll start 7th on the inside with the 84 of Bill Schiller to start in the 8th spot out of Warwick, Rhode Island. The 9th position goes to Danny Perry in the number 35 out of Cranston, Rhode Island. On the outside of him, Steve Cromwell in the number 70 out of New Bedford, Massachusetts. Peter Donato and Mike Vaines make up your final row of the field. Eddie Moore and Rocky Hudson are up in the flag stand, keeping an eye on Mike Chatterley and Bob Broder as they come off the 4th corner. The green flag flies, and we're underway. 2 by 2 down into turn number 1. Chatterley's on the bottom with Adam Murphy in tow. Bob Broder up on the high side. Joey Silva right behind him in the number 36. As they slide through turns number 3 and 4, Adam Murphy's got the line. And he takes the lead off the 4th corner to lead the first lap of this qualifying event. Chatterley feeling the pressure of Broder and Silva as they're knocking on his back door in turn number 3. Off the 4th corner, Chatterley now moves into 2nd. The number 36 of Joey Silva files in the third. Then it's Brian Vincent, the Sprague's Auto, number 8, and the number 13 of Bob Broder. Bill Scholler on the bottom and the number 84 moving to the inside of Broder as they come off the fourth corner. Broder starts to slide back just a few more spots. One car getting sideways in front of him. That's double zero of Josh Hawkins making slight contact with Peter Donato. Halfway to go in this qualifying event that finds the Tom Barboza Construction number 81 of Adam Murphy out in front. He leads it over the number 11 of Mike Chatterley and Joey Silva. Brian Vincent and Bill Scholler are the two guys that are battling for the top 5 spot. Through turns 3 and 4. Scholler and Vincent, good battle shaping up right there for the 5th position. 6th spot on back, Peter Donato going side by side with Bob Broder. That's a good run just outside the top 5. But as they come off the 4th corner, the 2-lap signal's going to fly for Adam Murphy. Brian Vincent going to the top of the number 36 of Joey Silva in turn number 2. He ran the outside to get past the number 84, Bill Scholler. Now he's working his way up into the top 3. White flag is out one more time around the Seekonk Speedway. And the man that is charging hard in the latest stages of this qualifying race is the 8 of Brian Vincent. Slides a little bit high going down the back straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air for the number 81 of Adam Murphy. He takes down the win over Mike Chatterley. Good move for Bill Scholler on the inside as they come off the 4th corner to sweep 2 spots. He takes 3rd with the 36 of Joey Silva and the 8 of Brian Vincent. So a good run on the last corner, the last lap of the number 84 of Bill Scholler. He made the move of the race. That was the first qualifying heat race for the Formula 4s. They're going to make their way back into the pit area and coming out onto the track. Heat number 2 for the Formula 4s, and Kevin's got the call.
Thank you, Derek. Before we get the lineup for round number 2, Bobby Caton, please head to your car. Bobby Caton, please head to your car in the pit area. Round number 2 for the Formula 4s out on the racetrack, and starting on the pole out of Rochester, New Hampshire. The alert salon number 28, it's Tim Ferrand, outside of Ferrand, out of Chepachet, Rhode Island. Car number 20 for Derek Robertson. 2 rows back on the inside out of Seekonk, Mass, the number 49 for Stacy Dias. Outside of Dias is the 17 of Adam Simmons. John Avila rolls off 5th. He's out of Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts. Drives the Bay Diving Marine, number 7, outside of Avila. Out of North Quincy, Mass, the number 7 for John Dumas. Clyde rolls off 7th out of Jamestown, Rhode Island. The Country Delight Restaurant, number 86, that's Bill Caswell. Outside of Caswell, out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, in the number 0, it's Paul Peon. Tiverton, Rhode Island's Bill Batello will roll off on the inside of row number 5, driving the Dale Bishop's Big Pickin, number 51. Outside of Bill Batello, the number 9 out of Coventry, Rhode Island. Number 2 in the point case, it's Mike Broder. Starting 11th on the field, Todd Gosson in the 0-1. 1 win on the season for him. Outside of him, out of Fall River, Mass. Welcome back, Liquid Lee Hayes. And the 89 of Scott Bukes rounds out the field in round number 2. The 13 of Bob Broder getting some much-needed assistance back into the pit area. Looks like he may have some front-end problems or maybe some transmission problems on the 13. We'll see if we can get them straightened out for the main event. Full field on hand for many of our divisions, including the Pro Stocks. 25 cars on hand, only the second time we've seen a full field for the A division here at the Seekonk Speedway, and great to see everybody come out. It's kind of too bad that McCallum's machine is not race ready, if you will, because that would make it 26, but expecting to see him in just a few weeks on Saturday night, September the 16th. Talking to a few people this past couple of weeks, and a lot of the northern drivers scheduled to come down. Bobby Gahan is rumored to be heading south on that afternoon. Charlie Rose is talked about reappearing here on the 16th of September. Drivers like Donnie Melberg, Pete Frappier, drivers you don't normally see come to the Seekonk Speedway, expecting to come down and try our 1/3 mile oval to see if they can take home some of the Cement Palace gold, if you will. Still under caution here, have not gotten the green flag, waiting for Bob Broder's number 13 to get some assistance back into the pit area. And it looks like they'll have to rehook it. These cars are supposed to come equipped with a chain off the front and back ends of the race vehicle. and sometimes the chains aren't secured properly, or they wear, well, I don't know, don't want to say they wear out, but they may get damaged from on-track incidences, so looks like that may have been what happened with a 13 of Bob Broder. So that's going to slow us up for a couple of seconds, one more time, as the Formula 4s continue to run under caution. Next weekend, we're here both days, Saturday and Sunday. On the 2nd, Saturday night, a full night of racing. All 5 divisions will be on hand, including 2 Pro Stock races, 2 feature events, just like last week, 2 feature events for the Pro Stocks. And instead of our usual 35, we're going to cut it back to 30 laps for each one. And last week we saw some exciting racing. Lenny Ellis picked up his first win of the season. Dick Houlihan picked up his 3rd win of the 2000 grind. We'll see if any of those drivers can pick it up again tonight or next week. There's the problem with the 13, front end problems. Right front suspension damage on Bob Broder's number 13. All right, we're ready to go, and Tim Ferrand and Derek Robertson will bring them down. Stacy Dias, Adam Simmons, John Avila, John Dumas, the front 3 rows as we get ready to rock. Rocky lets them roll off of turn number 4. Ferrand gets the jump over Robertson. Field rolls down into turn number 1. Peon now takes a look to the outside as he attempts to work past the 44 of Dumas. But Dumas, look at the car on 3 wheels. Through the corners, getting by the 17 of Simmons, setting his sights on Robertson and Ferrand, who run in front. Lee Hayes has not lost a step. He works 3 wide through the corner, goes by his teammate like he's tied to a stump. And the 9 of Bob Broder doesn't have enough big steam under that 9 as Hayes just drives on by on the outside. He's up to 5th now, 6th make that, as he works the outside of the 77 of Simmons. Simmons drops back, and Hayes sets his sights on the 0 of Peon. Up front, the 28 of Tim Ferrand continues to set the pace. Battle for 2nd as Dumas slides underneath Robertson. Robertson in the pink and white 20. Dumas in the blue and black 44. Throws it in on 3 wheels. Really, that's got to be 1.5 feet in the air. Mike Broder gets sideways through the corner, and, well, before you can say oops, the yellow flag is out on the racetrack. So the caution is out for the first time in this 2nd Formula 4 heat event. Mike Broder in the number 9 having some problems there as he'll rejoin at the rear. So go back to the last completed lap, and we'll get that lap for you in just a second. Tonight, enjoying us, we have some special guests in the stands. 15 high school students from northwestern Italy, and their host families are on hand tonight. These Italian exchange students are sponsored by the Cultural Homestay International, the organization that has arranged their 3-week trip to America. They're here to learn more about our language, our culture, and what we do for fun, and boy, aren't we having some tonight. So tonight we welcome them and their host families as guests of the Seekonk Speedway. One thing they really wanted to see up close and personal was some of our Pro Stocks. We do have 3 of them on display right now up in Victory Lane, which is located just behind turn number 4. We've got Dick Houlihan's number 1. We've got the 41 of Lenny Ellis. Those are 2 of our feature winners last Saturday night in the Pro Stocks, and also Wayne Dion's number 99 Pro Stock, all on display up in Victory Lane. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to let you get up close and personal and an autograph as well. Right now we're ready to go back to racing. Ferrand and Robertson jump off of turn number 4. Rocky waves the green flag. Robertson looking for the lead, but look at Peon make it 3 wide into 1. Looking for that top spot. He drifts up the racetrack. Dumas and Hayes nose to tail down to the bottom. Dumas makes it 3 wide for the lead. Contact puts ProNyne sideways. Look at that. They all keep rolling. 4 down and 4 to go. Hayes is down in the infield. He's got to gather it back in. And deep in the pack there, 4 wide off of 2. You've got the 10 of Hayes, the 51 of Battello, the 86 of Caswell, and the 9 of, Broder, but everybody singles it out, and up front, the 0. Paul Peon now sets the pace. The 20 of Robertson on the outside, battling with the 44 of John Dumas. Down into 3 they go, twin sticks in the air. Dumas throws it in. Look at that, left rear wheel up off the ground about a foot. Gets the 2 to go signal with Dumas in second. Here comes Hayes back on the outside. He gets by Avila in the 7, sets his sights on the top 2, as he is not done yet. Peon rolls off of turn number 4. White flag in the air. Dumas closing in. Robertson, Hayes, and Avila the top 5. Todd Gosson up to 5th now, 6th now in the 0-1. Final time down the back straighter. The battle is for 3rd. Hayes takes a drop to the bottom. Checkered flag is out, and Paul Peon will pick up the win. Dumas in for 2nd. Hayes will finish in 3rd. Robertson, Avila the top 5 with Todd Gosson, Bill Battello, Bill Caswell, the 89 of Eric Dukes, and the 9 of Mike Broder rounding out the top 10. Good job of driving by the guys running at the top of the field in that skirmish. Everybody keeps it rolling. So that's the qualifying for the Formula 4s. The Excel Charger Street Stocks roll out onto the track for their first of 2 heat events, 29 cars altogether tonight.
Street Stocks lining up on the front straightaway and starting on the pole out of Oak Bluff, Massachusetts. It'll be the number 72 of Al Clements III, the ARC Welding and Repair entry. On the outside of him, out of Warwick, Rhode Island, the Custom Drywall Incorporated number 19 for Pistol Pete Simpson. He'll start on the outside of road number 1. Louis Dias in the Nails by Viv number 7 will roll off on the inside of row number 2 with rookie Mike Vaness on the outside. K&D Designs, Dick & Sons, Marina Incorporated number 30. Doug Rios starts next to number 2. He's out of Fall River, Massachusetts, and on the outside of him, Ryan Vaness in the 6th position, the Terry's Auto sponsored number 9. He's a feature event winner here earlier this year. Jeremy Lilly, last week's feature event winner, will roll up next, 7th on the inside, driving the number 8 out of Warwick, Rhode Island, with Mark Langlois in the Bow Video number 12 riding on the outside of him. Pepe Jim Sylvia will roll off 9th. On the inside, he's out of Middletown, Rhode Island, with Bob Betancourt in the number 21 to start 10th on the outside. Bobby Rose, 4-time feature event winner here this year, will start in the 11th position out of Berkeley, Massachusetts, with Bill Healy in the number 71 to start 12th, Tim Morey in the 13th position, Louis Ramiza in the Falmouth Recycling number 58, and rounding out the field will be Barry Shaw in the number 85. Al Clements and Pete Simpson bring the field off the 4th corner. The green flag flies. They go down into turn number 1. Simpson slides it up on the high side. Clements has got the line coming off the 2nd corner, going down the back straightaway. He'll lead it, being chased by Simpson in 2nd. The 3rd spot is Louis Dias, followed by Ryan Vaness and Mike Vaness to round out the top 5. Going down the back straightaway, side by side, Dias is underneath the number 19 of Pistol Pete Simpson. They come off the 4th corner. Battle is for that 2nd position out there on the track. Now Clements drifts high, pushing off the 2nd corner. That allows the 7 of Dias to get underneath him. The 9 of Ryan Vaness files right in. So does Jeremy Lilly and Pepe Jim Sylvia. They're all using the low line as they come off the 4th corner. They go down into turn number 1. Side by side, battle for the lead. The 7 of Louis Dias on the bottom and the 19 of Pistol Pete Simpson on the top. 2 by 2, they come across the line. Dias continues to hold the lead over the number 19, and the number 9 of Ryan Vaness holds a strong 3rd as they all go down the back straightaway. Halfway to go. Halfway completed with this heat race event that finds Louis Dias out in front, but hot on his tail is Ryan Vaness. Pete Simpson slides up the track. He loses valuable ground. Jeremy Lilly now files in underneath him to take the 3rd spot away. Mike Vaness trying to go 3 wide with Pepe Jim Sylvia on the bottom from 4th spot on back. As Sylvia now looks underneath the 8 of Jeremy Lilly as they go into turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Sylvia gets the advantage he needs. He moves underneath Jeremy Lilly to take the 3rd spot away. So coming all the way from his 9th starting spot. Jim Sylvia is starting to move up as he looks underneath rookie Ryan Van Ness in the number 9. Van Ness gets shuffled up to the top side of the speedway. This time by, you're going to see 2 more laps. Just 2 more laps to go for Louis Dias in the number 7 to see if he can hold off the challenges of Ryan Van Ness and Pepe, Jim Sylvia. White flag flies one more time around as Sylvia trying to get a leg up on the number 9 of Ryan Van Ness. They go into turn number 1. He's got the 2nd spot. He's putting pressure to the 7 of Louis Dias. He looks underneath him. Contact was made right there. That slows up Sylvia just a little bit. Van Ness gets the advantage he needs, and he tries to go to the outside of Sylvia, of Dias, but he cannot get the job done. So taking down the win is the number 7 of Louis Dias, followed by the 9 of Ryan Van Ness, the 116 of Jim Sylvia, then it's the 8 of Jeremy Lilly, and the 24 of Bobby Rose to round out the top 5. So a good, fast, competitive field right down to the final wire. Ryan Van Ness almost pulled out over Louis Dias. They were side by side, very close across the line. Beating him by just a fender was the number 7 of Louis Dias. Got a happy birthday wish going out to one of our Pro Stock competitors. Happy birthday to Jimmy Rosenfield, the Pro Stock number 44, from your family and friends. So it's nice to see someone who's competing here tonight celebrating a birthday. I couldn't think of a better place to be celebrating a birthday at the track. One of my favorite places to be, and a happy, happy birthday to Jimmy Rosenfield.
Round number 2 rolls out onto the racetrack for the street stocks. 10 laps will be the distance, and bringing them down for the green flag out of Edgartown, Mass, the Squealia. Well drilling number 49, it's Alex Bernard. Outside of Bernard in the Western Auto number 99 out of Oak Bluffs, Massachusetts, it's Al Clements IV. Russ Horsfall starts third on the field in the Motortech number 4. He's out of New Bedford, Mass. Outside of him out of West Warwick, Rhode Island, the Dodge Whip Automotive number 65 for Eddie Moniz. 3 rows back on the inside out of West Warwick, the 06 for Steve Malcolm. Outside of Malcolm out of Mandeville, Rhode Island, the Paul Bailey's Ford number 37 for Jody Cirillo. Rich Cavallaro starts 7th out of Seekonk, Mass. And the number 6 outside of him, the Monroe Dairy number 5 out of North Dayton, Mass. It's Tom Furtado. Joe McCourt in the 66 rolls off 9th outside of him in the number 3. It's Jamie Raposo, Mark St. George in the 01. Out of North Attleboro starts 11th, 12th. In the Ross Food Services number 23, it's Brian Connors out of Somerville, Mass. Steve Potter Jr. in the 81, and David Petty in the 25 out of Asona, Mass. Round out the field, and we are underway. Down up the second corner, Bernard slides off a turn number 2 as he sets the pace. Battle is for second. Horsefall in the 4, the 99 of Clements. Battle there. 65 of Eddie Moniz looking for some racing room as he sits 4th on the field. Cirillo sits 5th in the 37 right behind as he holds off the number 5 of Todd Furtado in the 06 of Steve Malcolm. Up in front of them, Horsefall picks up position number 2. Moniz follows through down to the bottom as the 99 of Clements slides back to 3rd, make that 4th off of turn number 2. Cirillo takes a look down to the inside there as he looks for some racing room. Clements dropping just a little bit each and every lap on the outside, losing a little bit of momentum to the top of the field. Off of turn number 2, now Cirillo takes a look to the bottom and takes away position number 4 and closes in on the back bumper of the 65 of Moniz. No, not too much action here as everybody settles in and races. Up front, the 49 of Alex Bernard continues to pull away. The 4 of Horsefall slides off the racetrack. Moniz takes a look down to the inside. Through the corner, Horsefall gets sideways. Moniz straightens him out. And with the halfway point, Moniz finds himself in the runner-up position. Off of 2 they come. Moniz now sets his sights on the 49 of Bernard. Cirillo follows through the Day Glow Orange, number 37. Looks like that car has faded since the beginning of the season. Off of turn number 2, he off before they come, nose to tail the top 4 now. Clements now to the bottom as he tries to get one of his positions back. He looks to the inside of Alex Bernard. They battle double wide into 3 and off of 4 to complete lap number 7. And problems, Mark St. George doing some landscaping off of turn number 4. Slides that car way into the grass. He keeps that machine rolling. And the starters let him know to stay there. Here come the leaders off of 4. Twin sticks in the air 2 more times. Bernard. Raposo just squeaks by in the number 3. And that brings out the caution flag. So Bernard, who led most of the way, comes off of turn number 4. The right rear tire goes kaboom. And he goes around. Good job trying to keep that car straight. And good job by all the drivers to avoid him. This cleanup will take a minute because there are pieces of rubber everywhere on the front straightaway. Bernard would limp that car back into the pit area, and all but killers. Jamie Raposo needs a push start as that car stalled when he spun that car and just missed the 49 of Bernard. So Double D Towing doing some service there. Want to welcome them back today. Looks like he may have had a tire go down as well. Want to welcome Double D and Silver Brothers Towing on hand with us once again. Part of our safety crew, of course the Seekonk safety crew, one of the best in the world at cleaning up the racetrack out there. Want to thank the Seekonk Fire Department and Response Ambulance Service. Without these fine folks and their dedication to our sport and our hobby, it'd be very difficult to get these races in a timely fashion. And speaking of timely fashions, how about last Saturday night? 6 feature events, including 2 pro stock events, and heck, we were out of here by 9:30. That's what we call a fast racing night, getting it done, getting it clean, and getting everybody happy. So Raposo will get a tow into the pit area in that red number 3. Mark St. George had pit side as well in his 01. Now we'll see if Bernard can get that tire taken care of and back out onto the racetrack. The field is set. We have 8 laps complete, I believe. Let's double check that with the scorers. And 7 laps complete. That's what I get for not paying attention. So we'll have a 3-lap shootout to the checkered flag. Eddie Moniz and Jody Cirillo on the front row. 2 graduates from our Enduro division. Great to see them having a little bit of success here and running strong. Moniz does have a couple of wins to his credit. Cirillo, last year's Rookie of the Year, has been very close several times, has yet to finally cross that finish line first. One of these weeks, it is going to happen for him, and you know they say the first one is the hardest, and boy, can Jody Cirillo attest to that. He's got some good guys helping him, names like Mike Santiano and Joey Cirillo, 2 big names, and from the past. Green flag is out. We're underway. Moniz jumps out front one more time. Cirillo gets caught on the outside. Here comes Furtado down to the bottom, up to second, sets the sights on the leader as they roll down into turn number 3. Twin sticks in the air when they come around. Furtado throws it in hard, has to get on the binders not to get into the 65, but still beats the 37 at the stripe. Cirillo battles back on the outside, off at 2. Moniz drifts up. Furtado took a look to the inside, couldn't get it done, had to settle in behind. One more time around, white flag. Furtado again takes a look to the inside of Moniz with 1 to go. Cirillo climbing that ladder on the outside as he looks for the win off at 2. They are dead even. Furtado gets low sideways off at 2, has to gather it in. He loses the spot to the lead off of 4 for the win. Checkered flag is out, and Eddie Moniz will just nip Jody Cirillo with the line for the win. Tom Furtado will finish 3rd with Russ Horsfeld and Steve Malcolm rounding out the top 5. Rich Cavallero, Al Clements the 4th, David Petty, and Joe McCourt in the 66 round out the field running at the checkered flag. So there's your qualifiers for the street stocks. And out roll, probably the most exciting race from last week was the Seekonk Sports Truck. Todd Anarumo beating Stanley Sherman by literally inches as they raced side by side for the last half a dozen laps. And Anarumo on the outside, Sherman on the inside. That is a race you've got to get a copy of to watch because it was so exciting. I really enjoyed watching that one myself. And, of course, you can pick up a copy of that. Frank and Helen's video, you can pick that up at the base of the tower just on the turn 1 side. So be sure to pick that up. And, of course, racing all season long from the NASCAR Feather Light Modifieds, the NASCAR Busch North Series, the midgets here twice. A lot of racing has happened. We've still got a lot to go.
The trucks now start to pace the field around the speedway, and starting on the pole is the number 55 of Steve Taylor in the Robert Chevrolet and Isuzu sponsored automobile, with Bernie McDermott going to the outside of row number 1 out of Taunton, Massachusetts in the number 84. Mike Butts will start next in the number 63. He's out of North Dartmouth, Mass. with Nick Macedonio in the number 92, the Columbus Auto Sales sponsored truck. Stanley Sherman will start next on the inside in the 5th spot, the Reynolds Auto Wrecking number 20. And on the outside of him, it'll be the Candiggett Excavating number 14 for Jay Macedonio. The 7th position goes to Robin Sloan, the Hormel Foods Torch Bar and Grill sponsored number 4, with Kevin Casper alongside for the ride in the 8th position in the number 28, the St. Anne's Credit Union sponsored entry. Up next in the 9th spot is Mike Brightman, the King's Inn sponsored driver out of New Bedford, Massachusetts, with Brian Clark going to the outside of him in the 10th position. Billy Clark and Don Carell make up the final row of the field. The field comes off turn number 4. Steve Grant throws the green flag, and we're underway. Steve Taylor goes down at the turn number 1, side by side with Bernie McDermott. McDermott tough on the high side. Here comes Nick Macedonio in the number 92 now on the bottom, 3 wide in turn number 3 and 4 as they come off the 4th corner to complete lap number 1. Give it to the Columbus Oil Company number 92 of Nick Macedonio. Stanley Sherman files in for 2nd. Robin Sloan moves into the 3rd spot in the number 4. Steve Taylor battling tough on the high side, 3 wide right behind him for the top 5 spot. That finds Brightman down on the inside, Macedonio in the center. A couple of trucks getting a little bit sideways on the front straightaway. The number 84, Bernie McDermott saves it. He'll start to pick up the rear of the field as we go back to the action at the 4th spot with Mike Brightman and the number 14 of Macedonio battling side by side. Brightman on the bottom as they come off turn number 2, going down the back straightaway. Macedonio and the Candiggett Excavating number 14 battles with the number 27 as they go into turn number 4. Coming down the front chute one more time, give the spot to the number 27 of Mike Brightman. That's the only spot, fight for position that's going on within the top 5. Brian Clark now looking underneath Macedonio as the halfway signal's going to come out this time. Halfway to go from your starter, Steve Grant. The battle heats up for the top 5 spot with Brian Clark on the bottom and Jay Macedonio on the top in the number 14. Sitting right behind him watching it all is your point leader, Billy Clark, in the number 1. He sits just outside the top 5 waiting for either one of those drivers to make a mistake, and he's going to be right there to capitalize. Top 4 running bumper to bumper as they go into turns number 3 and 4. Your leader continuing to lead the way is the number 92 of Nick Macedonio. Then it's Stanley Sherman, Robin Sloan, Mike Brightman, Brian Clark, Billy Clark, Jay Macedonio battling now with Clark as the 2-lap signal comes out. 2 more laps to go around the speedway. Billy Clark going side by side with the number 14 of Jay Macedonio. Clark on the bottom, Macedonio up on the top side of the track. He dives down into the outside of turn number 3, trying to keep a leg up on the wily veteran who has 50-plus years of experience behind the wheel of a race car. Top 5, bumper to bumper down the back straightaway. Clark and Macedonio are the only 2 trucks fighting for position, but they come off the 4th corner. And the 92 of Nick Macedonio is going to take down the win, followed by Stanley Sherman, Robin Sloan, the 27 of Mike Brightman, the 21 of Brian Clark, Billy Clark, and the number 28 of Kyle Casper. So, fast and clean, some side-by-side good racing, just like the sports trucks like to do it. A good qualifying event for them, and rolling out now the second of 2 sport truck heat race event, and Kevin's got the call.
Round number 2 for the Seekonk Sports Trucks. 10 laps will be the distance. 13, lucky 13, will take the green flag. Starting on the pole, in the Benavides Plumbing in heat number 9, it's Scott Banville. Outside of Banville, out of Bridgewater, Mass, the DJR Trucking number 95 for Dick ProNyne. Robert Anaki starts 3rd out of Bridgewater, Mass. He drives the number 8. Outside of Anaki, out of Dartmouth, Mass, the Ashley Ford number 64 for George Rigo. Mark Roscoe DeJesus starts 5th in the Blackwood Landscape Design number 26. Outside of him, last Saturday night's feature winner, the Levex Tree Service number 11 for Todd Anarumo. The legend, Johnny Tripp, starts 7th out of Westport, Mass. The Seekonk Grand Prix number 18. Outside of him, the Snap-on Tools number 87 out of Hunson, Mass. It's Tracy Olette. Tom Kiefer rolls off 9th out of Warwick, Rhode Island in the number 2. Outside of him, out of Swansea, Mass, the number 24, the Wizard for Ray Soulier. Diamond Dave Banville starts 11th on the field. The Le Cavern Sowersby number 81. He's out of Somerset, Mass. Outside of him, in the Somerset Speed Shop number 99 out of North Dayton, Mass, It's Joshua Wheeler in starting scratch out of Manville, Rhode Island. First time out for this driver, it's Joey LeMay. LeMay, a former National Pro 4 Modified champion, back with us after most of the season off. Great to see him back behind the wheel of a Seekonk sports truck. Drove for the last few years for Archie Sherman and going on his own this year. We're ready to go. We've got getting ready for the green flag. Steve Grant has the green in his hand. Dick Benoit, Robert Anaki to bring him down as Scott Banville has elected to start at the tail end. Looking for the green off at turn number 4. Steve Grant looks at him, lets him go. We're underway. And Benoit gets the jump on the start as they head into turn number 1. Anaki tries to hold on to the blue number 8. Drifts up 3 wide as Rigo squeezes in between. The Jesus up the second. Trip down to the bottom. Rigo slides through in the middle. He picks up race position number 3. And here comes Todd Anarumo to follow through. Off of turn number 2 they come. It's the 95 of Dick Benoit, the 26 of Mark DeJesus. Rigo working the outside. The Ford Ranger, double wide off of turn number 4, trying to work his way to the top spot. Robert Anaki, the rookie, in the number 8, sliding on the outside. Sliding back just a little bit is Todd Anarumo. Squeezes down on the bottom as they head off of turn number 4. 3 laps in the books this time. Rigo still climbing the stairs. He works the outside of DeJesus, now sets his sights on the lead. DeJesus battles back on the inside off at 2. Through 3 and 4 they go. Benoit drifts up a little. DeJesus can't take advantage though. Not enough room. And here comes the 64 again. Off of 2, DeJesus down on the bottom. Benoit sets the pace. Rigo working the outside line. 5 down, 5 to go this time. And Benoit continues to set the pace. Rigo works that second groove like he was born there. Takes a look to the outside off at turn number 2. Trying to close in on your leader down into 3. The blue, red, and white, number 95 for Dick Benoit. Brought him down for the green, is led all the way, but George Rigo trying to take that all the way. They roll off at turn number 2. Rigo up to the cab now, off at the second corner. Takes a look again to the outside, but drifts up just a little bit, and Benoit is able to hold on to the lead. Rigo sideways off at 4, and that allows DeJesus to battle back to the inside there. Off his turn number 2, DeJesus down to the bottom. The maroon, yellow, and blue, number 26, working down low. The blue and yellow Ranger, the 64 of Rigo up high, with 2 more laps to go. Gives second to Rigo on the outside. Off until they come. Benoit continues to set the pace. It doesn't look like either of those two will be able to make a serious contention for the win. Off of 4, white flag is out. One more time around. Benoit, the battle will be for second. Rigo and DeJesus battles there. Down off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Give it to Rigo by about an inch, but DeJesus battles back down on the bottom. Checkered flag is out. No up at turn number 4. Benoit will pick up the win. Second place will be Rigo. DeJesus, Zip and Anarumo the top 5 with Ray Soulier 6th. Tracy Olat 7th. 8th will be Robert Anaki. Joshua Wheeler 9th, and rounding out the top 10, his first race of the 2000 racing season, Joey LeMay in the number 3, rounding out the top 10. So there you have your qualifying for the Seekonk Sports Trucks and the Sportsman Division roll out onto the racetrack. 12 laps the distance for their heat.
Sportsman's take to the Seekonk Speedway, and starting on the pole is the Club Fantasy sponsored number 9 from Warwick, Rhode Island's Paul Vaness. On the outside of row number 1, the BOC Gases NAC Sound and Security Systems number 70 for Glenn Lawton. Winwood Cowan will roll off in the 3rd spot this year. He's got a couple of feature wins to his credit. The Ed Holloway Auto Sales sponsored automobile. With the Viking sheet metal number 99 for Fireball, Glenn Young to start 4th on the outside of row number 2. The 5th position on the inside would go to the driver, the number 57, Dean Petty, in the Freetown Sand and Gravel. Number 57, he's out of Asana, Massachusetts. With the WE Parade Trucking, number 89 of Ron Reed out of Rehoboth to go into the 6th spot. 7th place is Jerry D. Gaspari. He's out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, the Custom Auto Body sponsored number 71, and Dave Titus will go alongside of him in the 8th position. The RNF Transport number 2. Ken Spencer will start next on the inside in the 9th position. The RNF Transport sponsored number 3, with Leroy Hudson in 10th and 02 in the B&R Recycling entry. Sean Woodward rides out the field in the number 28, the Butch Merritt Welding entry, and that is how they're going to roll off. 11 cars, 12 laps to be the distance. And Glenn Lawton will occupy the pole. Steve Grant lets the field know. Next time around, we're going green. Glenn Lawton to the point. Linwood Cowan alongside for the ride in the number 56. Cowan has a couple of feature event wins to his credit. Glenn Lawton has yet to win one this year. Glenn Fireball Young in the Kids Corner Child Daycare number 99 will start on the inside of road number 2 with the Freetown Sand and Gravel number 57 of Dean Petty on the outside in the 4th position. Field's going to start to bunch up as they hit the hot line in turn number 3. You can hear him pick up the throttle. Steve Grant lets him go, and we're underway with sportsman racing here at the Seekonk Speedway. Glenn Lawton off of 2's got the lead with the number 56 of Linwood Cowan in tow. Dean Petty high up on the outside of the number 99 of Glenn Lawton as they come off the 4th corner. They're fighting for the 4th spot with Ron Reed moving into the 5th position. Going down at the turn number 3, Fireball Glenn Young gets underneath the number 57 of Dean Petty once again. They're going side by side for the 3rd position down at the turn number 1 and 2. Petty now getting an advantage on the high side, and they go down at the turn number 3. Number 89 of Ron Reed occupies your top 5 position, but the battle right now on the speedway is for the Freetown Sand and Gravel number 57 of Dean Petty and the 99 of Glenn Fireball Young. Good battle for 5th on back between the 2 of Dave Titus and the 71 of Jerry D. Gaspari. Gaspari up on the top side of the speedway, Titus on the bottom. They go down into turn number 3. Those 2 drivers are also going side by side. Action moves back to the 3rd spot. Glenn Fireball Young and the number 57 of Dean Petty still going at it for the positions on the track. Young now moves into the 3rd spot with authority as he goes into turn number 3. Good move right there for the number 89 of Ron Reed on the bottom in the WE Plate sponsored automobile. He gets underneath the 57 of Dean Petty. Petty now gets shuffled back just a little bit farther. Another driver making his way up into the top 5 is number 2 of Dave Titus. Titus driving the R&F Transport sponsored automobile. He sits in the 6th spot. Field now bumper to bumper as they go down the back straightaway. Lawton continues to lead the way with Cowan in 2nd, then it's Young, Reed, Petty, Titus, then it's the 3 of Ken Spencer, Jerry D. Gaspari, Paul Vaness, Leroy Hudson, and the 28 of Sean Woodward. That is how they run around the speedway. Field now comes off turn number 4. 2-lap signal being given by Steve Grant. Glenn Lawton continues to hold the point with Linwood Cowan in 2nd. Problems with Lawton's number 70. He loses traction for just a minute, loses valuable ground to Linwood Cowan, who takes the lead on the back straightaway. Cowan now your new leader. Lawton losing some valuable momentum, and that made the number 99 of Glenn Young go to the outside. But now Young is in jeopardy of losing a spot to the 89 of Ron Reed. They come off the 4th corner and take it down the win as the number 56 of Linwood Cowan. He takes the win over the number 70 of Glenn Lawton. Then it's the 99 of Glenn Fireball Young. Not sure what happened to the 89 of Ron Reed, but as they go down the back straightaway is Dean Petty, Dave Titus, Ken Spencer, Jerry D. Gaspari, and Paul Vaness. So tough break for the number 70 of Glenn Lawton. He came off the 2nd corner and lost momentum in that number 70. And that gave the 56 of Linwood Cowan the victory. The 2nd of 2 sportsmen's qualifying events are up on the track, and Kevin jacked the call.
Round number 2 for the sportsman division. Roll out onto the racetrack. 11 cars will take the green flag. And I want to mention 3 drivers last night spent a lot of time rebuilding, putting their cars back together, if you will. Glenn Young, Ron Reed, and Peter Fernandez all traveled up north for an open competition race. Reed finished 8th, Young finished 9th, and Peter Fernandez finished 13th up at the USA Speedway last night. Want to just let you know that they spent a lot of time working on their cars overnight. And Ron Reed, who did finish 8th, having some problems here tonight. Hopefully he'll get that taken care of for the 25-lap main event. On the pole, Robbie Murphy off of Block Island, Rhode Island, and the Ballards in at number 13. He'll bring him down for the green flag. Outside of him, out of Seekonk, Mass, the look out for Sauersby Auto Parts, number 0 for Mike Tracy. The G. Lopes Construction, number 26, out of Taunton, Mass. Last Saturday night's feature winner. Peter Fernandez starts third. Outside of him, the sign man in the Rhode Island drive shaft, number 88, it's Kenny Bamford. Billy Goodrow rolls off fifth in the number 32. Outside of him, in the Kevin's Professional Detailing, number 6, it's Ed Gannon the third. Rob Doobie in the 3D rigging, number 44, rolls off seventh. Outside of him, out of Somerset, Mass., the 81 of James Lawrence. Scott Dion, the National Lumber, number 10, will start next. Outside of him, the 8 of George Simpson, and Kevin Folan out of North Attleboro. And the Southeastern Hardwood Floors, number 17, get the green flag, and we're underway for round number 2. Down into the first corner, Murphy sets the pace. Tracy on the outside, gets a little bit loose off the corner, but able to hang with on the outside. Double wide off the 2 for the lead. Murphy picks it up and takes down lap number 1. There comes Benetti. Look at Gannon go 3 wide in the corner. We haven't seen that done in a long time in the Sportsman's. It's not going to happen now either as Gannon settles in back behind the 88. Down off at turn number 4. Tracy back on the outside of Murphy. Into 1 and 2 they go. Murphy down to the bottom. Tracy up high. Here comes Fernandez. The black number 26 working down to the inside. The Chevy of Fernandez takes a look to the inside of Tracy. Tracy shuts the door, but leaves a little bit open. Doobie spins the car up at turn number 4. We'll see if he keeps it rolling. And nope, he stalls it, and he'll wait for the yellow flag. And there it is, just as Doobie gets it rolling. So Rod Doobie brings out the first caution flag. 2 laps are complete in the second Sportsman Heat event. Well, we told you a little bit ago up on the midway next to the CompuTrust display, 3 Pro Stocks have been on display. Lenny Ellis's number 41, the 99 of Wayne Dion, and the 1 of Dick Houlihan, all on display. Well, Wayne Dion's 99 and the 41 of Lenny Ellis have headed pit side to get ready for their heat events. And like we said, we've got a full field of Pro Stocks on hand for you. Dick Houlihan's number 1 remains there and probably will remain there for quite a while tonight. And, well, it's not the car he races here. He was at the Thompson Speedway today as he gets ready for their weekend of racing. So Hooley doing double duty this weekend. But that car is his Thompson machine up on display up on the midway. His Seekonk car in the pit area getting ready to try to make it 4 on the season. Ready to go one more time. 2 laps down, and Robbie Murphy, Dick Tracy will bring him down. Off the 4th corner they come. Green flag is out. Tracy slides up the racetrack, and Murphy sets the pace down into 1. Fernandez down to the bottom, sits right on the rear bumper of the rookie down into 3. And Murphy sets the pace. Tracy up on the outside, sliding just a little bit back as the 26 of Fernandez slides up and to the inside. Taking a look for that second position, and just by about 1.5 foot, half a nose even, as they hit turn 3, they're dead even. Tracy battles back up high, but Fernandez has it all over him off the corner and picks up position number 2. Behind them, 3-4 cars battling for position. The 17 of Kevin Folan way off the pace, as is the 10 of Scott Dion. Off of turn number 4, for your lead, Robbie Murphy sets the pace. Fernandez up to second. Look who's third, up points leader. The 81 of James Lawrence sits third on the grid. He takes a look to the inside of Fernandez. He's second in points. Off of turn number 4, cross flags. 6 down and 6 to go. As the black flag comes out for Simpson with the right rear tire rubbing. Fernandez takes a look to the outside of Murphy into 3. The 81 of Lawrence hits third. Here comes Goodrow and Gannon out to round out the top 5 at lap number 7. Fernandez working the second groove, climbing the ladder to the outside of the 13. Murphy leads him off at 2. Fernandez cannot get the advantage to get a run on your leader. The 81 of Lawrence takes a look down to the inside of Fernandez as they head down into 1. Off at turn number 2, Fernandez still holds out a second. Lawrence in third. The 32 rounds out the top 4. 3 more times around, and the 13 continues to lead the field around. Fernandez loose off the corner. Here comes the 81. Lawrence gets a run down to the bottom. Double wide for second. 2 to go, and the battle is for the number 2 position. Fernandez has it by a half a nose at the stripe, but Lawrence down on the inside off of turn number 2. Dead even, but in the middle, and it's a 3. Give the advantage to Lawrence. Murphy leads him off of 4. White flag is out, and one more time around. Dead even at the stripe. Lawrence down to the bottom gets a little bit of an advantage heading into the corner. Off of 2. Fernandez slides up the racetrack. into 3 they go. Murphy leads them off the corner, and Murphy will pick up the win. Lawrence will finish second with Fernandez, Goodrow, and again in the top 5. Kenny Bamford 6th, 7th will be the 0 of Mike Tracy, Rob Doobie 8th, and the 10 of Scott Dion rounding out the field at the finish. So round number 2 for the Sportsman Division, the X-Side Battery Sportsman Division are all set. The Pro Stocks are ready to roll for their first of 2 heat events.
Pro Stocks make their way out onto the Speedway. These are the fastest cars that you're going to see here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They are the premier division here at the Seekonk Speedway for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. And starting on the pole out of Seekonk, Massachusetts, it's the number 87 of Mike Caballero. On the outside of route number 1, this gentleman comes all the way from Derry, New Hampshire each and every week. And the Palm Landscaping sponsored number 77 for Alan McClure. Second spot on the inside goes to Jeff Goodrow in the Litchfield's Art Sign sponsored number 31. And on the outside of him, Danny Gamache in the number 27. He's out of Manville, Rhode Island. Ray Parent will roll off next in the number 17 in the North Trip Company Incorporated sponsored automobile. With Lenny Ellis, the BOC Gases sponsored number 41 to start on the outside of row number 3. Bob Tripp, a former future winner here earlier in the year, will roll off next in the Everett's Auto Parts number 81. With Wayne Dion in the Dell's Lemonade sponsored number 99 out of West Warwick, Rhode Island. He'll roll off in the 8th position. Up next is Dick Houlihan in the J&R Precast number 1, with Freddie Estelle Jr. on the outside of him in the 10th spot, the G-Lobes Construction sponsored automobile. Dave Poirier will roll off next. That's the Blue Pontiac Grand Prix out of East Taunton, Massachusetts. Tim Carroll will start 12th on the outside out of Coventry, Rhode Island in the number 84. And rounding out the field, the Furnace and Duck Company sponsored number 25 for one of the impressive rookies to the Pro Stocks this year, Brian Souza out of Westport, Massachusetts. Caballero to the point, Alan McClure alongside for the ride. This is the field. The Pro Stocks are in action here at the Seekonk Speedway. They're going to hit the line and turn number 3, pick up the throttle, and we're underway. Down at the turn number 1, Caballero's got the advantage as they go down the back straightaway. The number 77 of Alan McClure running in second with the 31 of Goodrow on the inside. They're side by side. Good battle for the runner-up spot in the first lap of this qualifying event. Danny Gamache gets a leg up on Ray Parent in the number 17. He moves to the outside into the 4th spot. Ray Parent rounds out in the 5th position. Parent now battles back down on the bottom to move into the 4th position as they come off of turn number 2. Following right along suit with Parent is the number 81 of Tripp. Tripp in the Everett's Auto Parts sponsored automobile moves into that 5th spot. Dick Houlihan sits just outside the top 5 in the number 1 in the 6th position. 7th is Freddie Estelle. Action goes right back to your leaders at the front of the field. A good battle, 3 cars between the 87 of Mike Caballero, who's leading, Jeff Goodrow in the 31, and the 77 of Alan McClure. All of those drivers starting to swap a little bit of paint, as that allows Ray Parent to come up to the back bumper of him. Parent in the 4th spot gets underneath McClure as they all go into the back straightaway. Ray Parent, a graduate of the Formula 4s and ATQMRA midget competition. Now he moves underneath the number 31 of Jeff Goodrow. Goodrow up on the high side with Parent on the bottom. Halfway to go in this qualifying event that finds Mike Caballero out in front. It's been a good race at the front of the field all race long. Caballero continuing to lead the way. Goodrow now moves up to the high side of Caballero. Parent in 3rd. Then it's Alan McClure in 4th, battling with Bob Tripp. And sitting just outside the top 5, like we said, with Dick Houlihan, Freddie Estelle, and the 99 of Wayne Dion. A lot of traffic at the front of the field. Off the 4th corner, your new leader as he crosses the line is Jeff Goodrow in the number 31. He gets a little bit of an advantage over the number 87 of Mike Caballero as they go into turn number 3. Ray Parent on the bottom in the 3rd spot in the number 17, with Alan McClure going side by side with Bobby Tripp in the number 81 for the top 5 spot. Good move right there for the number 31 of Goodrow. Big forward bite as he comes down the back straightaway. He's getting a leg up on the number 87 of Caballero. Caballero sideways in turn number 1. Just a little bit as he files back in the line. Ray Parent continues to hold the 3rd position. Alan McClure and Bob Tripp are going side by side into turn number 1. McClure driving the Palm Landscaping, number 77. Utilizing the top side of the speedway, Cavallero now starting to give up the bottom. Parent looks down low. The 2-lap signal starts to come out. Mike Cavallero holding up Ray Parent and Alan McClure as that allows the 31 of Goodrow to start to slip away. With just 1/3 of a mile to go, less than a lap. Mike Cavallero battling on the second spot with Alan McClure and Ray Parent. Those drivers are in a gaggle right there as they go into turn number 3 and 4, but off the 4th corner, the checkered flag's going to fly for Jeff Goodrow. Then it's the 87 of Mike Cavallero, the 17 of Ray Parent, the 77 of Alan McClure, and it looked like rounding out your top 5 was the 81 of Bob Tripp. So flag to flag, close and fast are how the Pro Stocks like to do it. They are the fastest vehicles that you're going to see here tonight. And they're very impressive to watch as they rip around the 1/3 mile Seekonk Speedway. The second of 2 qualifying heat races is up, and they're rolling out onto the speedway right now. Kevin, you got the call.
An even dozen will take the green flag for this second of 2 heat events. Tim Carroll and Brian Souza didn't see him out there for that first one. Got to wonder what's going on with those machines. John Dabrowski out of Dorchester, Mass, the lawyer. I guess we got a reason not to like him. Nah, just kidding. In the doubles, he'll bring him down for the green flag. Outside of him, the birthday boy out of Middleborough, Mass. The LCC concrete machine for Jimmy Rosenfield. Yep, you guessed it. Again, he's 44. We're starting on the inside of row number 2 out of Westport, Mass. The Drew Oil number 2 for Tom Scully. Outside of Scully, out of Cranston, Rhode Island, the rollaway disposal number 12 for Bobby Pellin Jr. Vinny Anarumo starts 5th on the field. The Jack's Auto Salvage, number 11. He's out of Swansea, Massachusetts. Outside of him, and the Gary S. Sager Builder, number 02, out of Seekonk, Mass. It's Matt Dewey. Somerset, Mass's Chad Chase starts 7th on the field in the Giant class, number 46. Outside of Chase, out of Westport, Mass, the Ralco Electric, number 95 for Billy Manchester. Radical Rick Martin starts 9th on the field in the Power Mist, number 24. Of course, he's out of Westport. Outside of him in the OSO.com, number 38, it's Keith Morrow. The Roadstone Corporation, number 20, Skip Shoemaker, will start 11th and starting scratch out of Cumberland, Rhode Island. It's the number 7 for Wayne Newman. 12 laps, 15 laps the distance, and round number 2 for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks. Dabrowski and Rosenfield to bring them down for the green. Slow through turns 3. Dabrowski just about at a stall as they hit the stripe, jumps on the throttle. He pulls away from the field. Almost. Rosenfield and Pellin hang with him down into 1. Off at turn number 2, Dabrowski sets the pace. Rosenfield settles in for second. That opens up the outside line. Nope, Rosenfield drifts up. Scully fills the hole down to the bottom, and they run double wide off of turn number 2. Down into the corner they come. Scully down to the bottom. Rosenfield down the back straightaway, trying to hold on the outside. Anarumo filling the hole down the bottom now as he moves up. And following him on the inside, you've got Chad Chase and Rick Martin looking for some racing room. Tom Scully in the white number 2 looks to the outside of your leader as they hit turn number 3. Dabrowski in the black 00 continues to hold the point, but here comes Scully on the outside. Anarumo up to 3rd, Chase up to 5th as he works the bottom of now Rosenfield's in the 44. Rosenfield trying to hold on, trying to gain back some momentum, but it's not working as Chase works his way down on the bottom. Up front, Scully works the outside, squeezes out the lead off of turn number 2, and we've got a change at the top of the field. Give the lead to Tom Scully in the number 2. Dabrowski back to second. 3rd is still a battle, double wide. Dabrowski holds on a second. Anarumo on the inside. The 44 of Rosenfield works that second groove. Double wide off before to complete lap number 5. And Rosenfield gets about a 3/4 length advantage heading into the corner. Chase right there in the inside, trying to squeeze through as he does, just in front of the 44. Halfway down, 7 down, 8 to go for Scully, who's pulled out to an 8-length lead over Dabrowski. And Anarumo now takes a look to the outside, running double wide for position number 2. The 00, Dabrowski down low, the 11. Anarumo up high at the stripe, give it to the Swansea Mass veteran of Anarumo. Off at turn number 2, he sets his sights on your leader. He's got an 8-length deficit to Scully off of 4. Across the stripe they come, quick off another lap, and Chase now takes his turn going around the 00 of Dabrowski. Martin tries it again as he works the outside. Manchester is right there to follow through. Single file off the corner with the exception of the 00 Dabrowski. Keeps that machine down, pinned to the bottom as the faster cars roll on by. 3 more times around when they hit the stripe. 12 laps complete for Tom Scully in the number 2, Vinny Anarumo in the 11, Chad Chase in the 46. Make that 11 as they cross the stripe. Manchester gets by Dabrowski. Pellet works the outside. And that's the battle there. Everybody else running nose to tail around the field. That's lap number 13 right there. Skip Shoemaker about to go -1. He drops to the top side, lets the leaders go by. Martin now taking a look at third, double wide off of 4. Chase down to the bottom, Martin up on the outside. Into 1 and 2 they go with less than 2 to go. Martin closing the gap quickly on the second groove. Chase battles back down on the inside. A white flag, final time around. Scully will walk this one home. Anarumo will chase him to the line, but to no avail. The battle is for third off at turn number 2. Chase down on the inside. Martin up high. They roll into 3 off the 4th corner. Checkered flag is out. And give the win to Tom Scully. Vinny Anarumo second. Chad Chase will be third. Just edging out Rick Martin for 4th. And Billy Manchester will round out the top 5. The 12 of Pelland will be 6th. 7th will be the 02 of Matt Dewey. The 00 of Dabrowski 8th. 9th will be the 38 of Keith Morrow. And the 44 of Jimmy Rosenfield to round out the field. And that's the way they finish the second qualifier for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks.
Concluding with all the heat races, the Pro Stocks are going to make their way back into the pit area. They're going to make the proper adjustments that they need for their feature event that will roll off later in the evening. However, we're moved to the consolation round, some call them the B main. And starting on the pole is Al Clemens III, the number 72, the ARC Welding and Repair sponsored automobile with Mark St. George alongside for the ride. And the number 01, the Matthews Auto and Truck number 01. He's out of North Attleboro, Mass. Barry Shaw will roll off third on the inside out of Holbrook, Massachusetts in the number 85. With Brian Connors in the Tech Transportation number 23 on the outside of road number 2. This spot goes to Doug Rio. He's out of Fall River, Massachusetts, and on the outside of him in the 6th position, it's Alex Bernard in the Edgartown Coffee Shop, sponsored number 49. Louis Ramiza is the next driver on the inside in the 7th position, the LPR Auto Removal, sponsored entry. With Jamie Raposo in the number 3, he'll start on the outside of row number 4. Bill Healy will roll off next in the 9th spot in the number 71 with Steve Potter in the number 81 on the outside of him to round out your top 10. And your number 10, starting 11th on the field, is Tim Morey out of West Yarmouth, Massachusetts. So this is the last chance for romance for the street stocks. You have to finish in a qualified spot to make your way into the main event. 8 cars are going to qualify. The rest get to pack it up and go home. We get the green flag. And Mark St. George moves to the outside of turn number 1. He's got the lead. Going down the back straightaway, the 72 of Al Clemens III going to the bottom of turn number 3. For Al Clemens, he gets sideways off turn number 2. Brian Connors catching contact with the 49 of Alex Bernard. Connors now goes around. Big contact right there. The right rear tire gets ripped off of the number 23. Heavy damage to the number 71 of Bill Lealey. Bill Lealey catching the number 23 of Brian Connors in the right rear as Connors spun around off turn number 4. That left the number 71 of Healy as a victim of circumstances, nowhere to go, and ripped the right side sheet metal off of that automobile. Tough break for that driver. He's going to retire back into the pit area. Unless they can get it fixed, it appears to be his night is done. But we go back to the leaders and restarting on the pole. There's going to be Mark St. George. He's your leader with Barry Shaw Jr. in the number 85 to second. Al Clemens and the number 3 of Jamie Raposo. Good competition shaping up between those two drivers. Raposo Trailing Clemens just a little bit and rounding out the top 5 is the number 2 of Doug Rio.
Don't forget, while you have a chance tonight, take a walk around the Seekonk Speedway. Check out all we have to offer. Don't forget, down at the base of the tower, just inside of the main grandstands, pick up a copy of this week's Seekonk Sentinel. We've got prizes to be given away, thanks to the good folks at Quality Fruitland, Rent the Rest Back, Race Car Jewelry, KND Design, all helping us out with our giveaways. We've also got the updated point standings in all of our divisions. We've got the results from last week and a little bit more information in this week's Seekonk Sentinel. And of course, while you're down there, stop at the Converse Photo Supply booth down at the base of the tower in the turn 4 side. Converse Photo with photos of all the stars and cars that compete here each and every Saturday night. They've got photos from our 4th of July celebration, all of our enduro racing action, and just about anything else.
Mark St. George is going to pace the field with Al Clemens alongside for the ride. Rocky Hudson's got the green flag in hand. They hit the stripe. The field picks up the throttle. Once again, we're back underway in this Excel Charger Street Stock Consi that finds Mark St. George out in front with the number 85 of Barry Shaw moving to second. Jamie Raposo dives into the third corner in the third spot, and Alex Bernard in the number 49 moves to the fourth position, shuffling Clemens back to the top 5 spot. Jamie Raposo with contact right there at the number 85 of Barry Shaw. Shaw gets the car a little bit sideways, but he's able to collect the automobile. Raposo occupies that third spot still with Alex Bernard in fourth. Mark St. George off the corner, a little bit loose, but he doesn't have the steam for Barry Shaw to catch him. Barry Shaw running in the second spot. They come down the back the front straightaway. Here runs in line. Shaw now looks to the bottom, makes a little bit of contact right there, rubbing fenders, and Shaw's got sliding the car just a little bit. As the halfway signal lights come out, we've got one car stopped in the back straightaway. That's the number 81 of Steve Potter. Steve Potter and the Darlington Hobby sponsored number 81 has got the car parked on the back chute just off of turn number 2. The yellow flag flies on the field. That finds Mark St. George continuing to lead the way. Double D Wrecker out on the track to assist the number 81 of Steve Potter, getting that vehicle off the track. I want to thank Double D and Silver Brothers Wrecking for bringing their tow trucks out. Of course, Response Ambulance Service for coming along and supporting the people that support auto racing as they come out for the wrecker service and ambulance response here at the Seekonk Speedway. We tip our hats to you. Are down 6 laps, 15 laps to be the distance. Mark St. George leads the way. Green flag flies from Rocky Hudson, and they're side by side as they come down the front straightaway. St. George has the lead as they come off turn number 2. Shaw now up on the high side. Raposo in third on the bottom. Bernard in fourth. Fifth is Al Clemens, and now we've got the halfway signal. 5 laps down, 5 laps to go in this 10-lap event. Raposo going side by side with Barry Shaw. Shaw up on the top side of the track, going down into turn number 3, up on the top side, but he's losing valuable ground to the number 3 of Raposo. Raposo gets the spot off turn number 2, moves into spot number 2, as the field goes bumper to bumper into turns number 3 and 4. No real moves for positions just yet. Contact on the front straightaway, the Apollo Radiator, number 14. Rio gets turned around. Chris Rio on the number 14 gets it sideways, gets the car righted once again as the 2-lap signal comes out. Jamie Raposo in the Granthys Corner Store sponsored number 3 is looking underneath St. George as they go down the back chute into turn number 3. A white flag flies. Raposo's on the bottom. He's got the line as they come across the start-finish line, and he takes the lead as he goes into turn number 1. Checkered flag's going to fly this time, and Mark St. George losing valuable positions, losing 2 on the last lap, as Barry Shaw takes second spot away from him. Your winner is Jamie Raposo, followed by Barry Shaw, the 01 of Mark St. George, the 49 of Alex Bernard, and rounding out your top 5 was the number 72 of Al Clemens III. So no such brotherly love going on out there on the track between the Rio brothers, Doug and Chris Rio, as Chris Rio gets turned into the infield. But now we've got the Formula 4s to roll out onto the track. This is their feature event. 15 laps to be the distance. We've got a full host of Formula 4 cars that are going to start in this main event. And Kevin Boucher has got the lineup and the call.
15 laps the distance for the Formula 4s as they get ready to qualify. Oh, they are qualified. Wow. Boy, time to wake me up. As they run their feature event, 26 cars will take the green flag, bringing them down from the green, for the green. Boy, let's start this all over. Formula 4s roll out onto the racetrack for their 15-lap event. 26 cars will take the green flag, and to bring them down out of Chepachet, Rhode Island, car number 20 for Derek Robertson. Boy, isn't that better. Outside of him, out of North Kingstown, Rhode Island, the number 11 for Mike Chatterley. 2 rows back on the inside, the power by Steve. Engines by Benz, number 7. Out of Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, it's John Avila in the number 7. Outside of him in the 02 out of Somerset, Mass, it's Kyle Casper. John Dumas will start 5th on the field out of North Quincy, Mass in the number 44. Outside of him, the Wright's Auto Parts. East Providence Auto Body, number 36, it's Joey Silva. Clyde starts 7th in the Damon's Hardware. Custom Tile Setters, number 86. Out of Jamestown, Rhode Island, it's Bill Caswell. Outside of Caswell, out of West Warwick, Rhode Island, in the number 8, it's Brian Vincent. 5 rows on the inside, Pawtucket, Rhode Island's Paul Peon drives the number 0. Outside of him, out of Tiverton, Rhode Island, the wings to go, ACR Refrigeration, number 51, it's Bill Vitello. Bill Schola will start 11th in the number 84. He's out of Warwick. Outside of him, in the number 35, it's Dan Perry. Todd Gosson starts lucky 13th in the 01. Outside of him, Liquid Lee Hayes in the number 10. Peter Donato in the 27, and Adam Murphy in the 81, make up row number 8. Josh Hawkins in the 00, Mike Broder in the number 9, roll off at row number 9. Scott Fitzgerald in the Dickinson's, Ajax Used Auto Parts, number 03, and Scott Fitzgerald in the Scott Bukes in the 89, round out 19th and 20th. 21st, the DiStefano Attorney at Law. East Coast Collision, number 13, the birthday boy, Bob Broder, and Tim Ferrand in the 28 out of Rochester, Mass. Roll off the next row. Michael Vaines in the 85. Adam Simmons in the 17. Steve Cromwell in the 70. Stacy Dias in the 49. Round out the field. Green flag is out. Rocky lets them roll down into turn number 1.
Derek Robertson gets the advantage going into turn number 1 over John Avila and Mike Chatterley in the number 11. John Dumas comes in the 4th spot with Casper rounding out your top 5. That is how they go down into turn number 3 and 4.
Off the 4th corner, Robertson sets the pace. Avila right there down to the bottom, looking for some racing room. John Dumas freewheeling it up at turn number 2. Gets by Mike Chatterley. Here comes Joey Silva and Brian Vincent in the number 8. Works the bottom. Chatterley up 3 wide. Casper slides through in the middle.
Casper slides up 2 in the middle, like Kevin said, but the man that capitalized on that trouble now in turn number 1, Lee Hayes turns the car sideways across the grass. He collects it. Good job of driving by that driver, but unfortunately he finds himself at the back of the pack.
Trying to make a hole that wasn't there. He got caught sideways, and now he's got to work it, go off at turn number 4. Hayes in the 10 has got to work from the back up front. It's still Robertson, Dumas, and Vincent, the top 3. Casper up to 4th. Avila holds on to 5th, gets kicked up 3 wide as Caswell and Silva both slide down to the bottom. Avila able to muscle his way up at turn number 4.
Good battle shaping up at the front of the pack, though. John Dumas underneath Derek Robertson. They go down the back straightaway. Dumas now into the grass and onto the curving in turn number 3 and 4. Shuffling Robertson up the track. Your new leader as they come across the line. Three-wheeling it into turn number 1 is John Dumas.
Trying to pull away from the field. He's got the 8 of Brian Vincent right there. Let's take a look deep in the pack. 3 wide, 4 wide, down the back straightaway. Bill Schola slides down to the inside. Underneath Caswell in the 86. Peon in the 0. Chatterley backed off the throttle there, but here comes Murphy down to the inside. Caution flag is out.
On the speedway, the DiStefano attorney at law, number 13 for Bob Broder, losing a wheel on that automobile. The right front tire appears to be sheared off, and now it's catching up to the driver. Going to roll down the track. Tough break for the gentleman who's celebrating a birthday. That tire rolling its way now down into the infield. And Bob Broder, unfortunately, will retire to the pit area and hopefully make his way back out onto the track.
So 5 laps are complete, and Bob Broder's tire completes lap 6 as that car finally comes to a stop just at the grass entrance in turn number 1. We saw the problems in the heat event with the right front suspension damage, and it looks like whatever they did not get it completely repaired as Bob Broder climbs out of the car a little dejected, and that's a tough break. But, Bob, sorry about that, but we got to wish you a happy birthday anyway. Or I guess we'll just wish you a birthday. I guess it's not too happy. From all of his family and friends, and especially his nephews, Chris and Nick. So, birthday, Bob.
Field rolling single file down the back straightaway, and one driver who leads the event has got one feature event win earlier this year. It's his rookie season. That's the 44 of John Dumas. John Dumas, if you watch that car as it goes through the corners, it defines the term crossweight. Crossweight in a race car is the weight difference between the right front tire and the left rear tire. And when he goes into the corner, it picks up the left rear tire and he carries it all the way through the turn until the weight comes back onto the left rear and the car sets back on the ground. Derek Robertson runs in second in the Foreign Auto Parts number 20. Brian Vincent third, then it's Kyle Casper, John Avila, Joey Silva, Clive Caswell, Mike Chatterley, Paul Peon, the 01 of Todd Gosson, the 81 of Adam Murphy, the 84 of Bill Scholler, the 35 of Danny Perry, and right behind him, the gentleman who spun down into the infield over here, but he collected the car. Unfortunately, he came back to the back of the pack, but cut his way through is the 10 of Liquid Lee Hayes.
So we'll run under the first caution. 5 of 15 are complete. And coming into tonight's racing action, point standings look like this. Dan Perry, consistency is the name of the game as he sits atop the point standings. Car number 35 leads the chase into tonight's racing action. Mike Broder has 3 wins on the season, but trails him by 2 points. Third in the point standings, Josh Hawkins, current rookie leader in the 00, having a whale of a season. Fourth right now, Lee Hayes with 3 wins on the season, and Paul Peon rounds out the top 5, another one of the rookie runners. Adam Murphy sits 6th in the standings, Peter Donato 7th, Bob Broder, Brian Vincent, and Bill Caswell round out the top 10. Joey Silva sits there in 6th, Murphy 7th, Donato, Broder 9th, and Vincent and Caswell tied for 10th, just about 110 points out of the lead. So mathematically, they're not out of it, but realistically, you got to look at the top 5 drivers and settle it among them. There's about 50-some-odd points between the top 5. Getting ready to go, 5 down, 10 to go. Rocky looks him off at turn number 4. Dumas jumps on the throttle, jumps off into the lead. He's got Brian Vincent glued to his rear bumper down into 1.
Dumas slides the car just a little bit. Brian Vincent gets underneath Derek Robertson. They all go down the back straightaway. Adam Murphy slowed down on the bottom. He loses valuable ground. John Avila now comes to the 4th spot. Kyle Casper rounds out your top 5. A big blanket of cars right there, all charged down into turn number 1 and 2, and everyone's scattering.
Look at Todd Gosson in the black 01, 3 wide down the back. Straightaway getting by Joey Silva. Contact is made. Gosson gets sideways, saves it as he rolls off a 4, lost only 1 spot. He wets the outside of Bill Caswell. Adam Murphy's got a right rear tire that's going down.
Caswell getting very, very sideways off of turn number 2. Lee Hayes and Mike Chatterley going around him on both sides. They're both out of the top 5. However, good battle shaping up throughout the pack. Todd Gosson underneath the 20 of Derek Robertson. The 7 of John Avila, full lock on that wheel as the 7 pushes up the track now. 86 of Caswell making contact with a host of cars out there. Everybody scatters, and the number 84, Bill Scholler bouncing off of Peter Donato, cars everywhere. They come down the front straightaway. Stacy Dias in the number 49 now, stuck down at the bottom of the track.
Well, you saw Lee Hayes waving his hand when he came off at turn number 4. So a little bit of smoke coming off the 0-1 of Todd Gosson. When they came around the last time, it looks like the left rear tire may be rubbing against the bumper. The 8 of Brian Vinson got the black flag for smoking. Hayes smoked the left front wheel a couple of times when he blocked up the brakes, but he continues on a tear. Up front, Dumas has an 8-length lead over the 0-1 of Dumas as they roll off at 2. The 10 of Hayes is right there. Avila and Casper round out the top 5.
Liquid Lee Hayes cutting through this field like a hot knife through butter. He had to go to the back of the pack because of an accident going into the infield, but he cuts his way through the field once again. A lot of power under the hood of that number 10. We get the 2-lap signal, 2 more laps to go. For rookie John Dumas, who runs out in front of that number 44, we're going to see what happens in just 2 more laps as Todd Gosson is trying to run him down.
Down the back straightaway, closes it up to 4 lengths. 3 lengths as they hit turn number 3. White flag is out. Does Dumas have enough to hold off Gosson? Off before they come, and one more time around. Gosson trying to close it in, but Dumas slides it off at turn number 2. Gosson takes a look to the outside, 3 lengths back, closes it in. He's on a time off a 4. The checkered flag is out, and John Dumas will pick up win number 2. Todd Gosson in for 2nd, Hayes in for 3rd, John Avila, Kyle Casper the top 5, with Mike Chatterley, Mike Broder, Derek Robertson, Josh Hawkins, and the 84, Bill Scholler, unofficially the top 10. And just as the checkered flag flew, Stacy Dias in the 49 and Adam Simmons in the 17 both get together off of turn number 4, and that's going to end their night on a sour note, but taking down the win number 2 on the season. How about a big round of applause for Quincy, Massachusetts' John Dumas. So that'll take a couple of seconds to clean up down at turn number 4. Stacy Dias with a left rear tire that is flat at 36. Joey Silva will bring it to the pit area as well after this event, but taking down a 2nd win in fine fashion after starting 5th. Worked his way up quickly. How about it as he finishes his 2nd victory lap of the 2000 racing season? Give him a big round of applause. John Dumas picking up the win.
Well, they must have a midget setup in that automobile because it was just entertaining watching that car running out in front as he goes through the corner, carrying that left rear tire. You can see all the daylight that goes between the ground and that tire. And a good run for John Dumas. He's a rookie to the Pro Force. Congratulations to him.
And if you, sorry to interrupt you, Derek, but if you have a copy of this week's Seekonk Sentinel, there's a good picture of John Dumas's mount with the left rear tire up in the air about a foot through the corner. So another reason you want to pick up the Seekonk Sentinel. Some great photos from Converse Photo Supply. You can check them both out at the base of the tower. The Seekonk Sentinel on the turn 1 side. Don't forget we've got some prizes to be given away just a little bit longer. We'll do that after this race. And of course Converse Photo Supply with photos of all the stars and cars that race at the Seekonk Speedway. Seekonk Sports Trucks roll out for their 20-lap main event.
The sports truck feature event is all set and ready to go. We have all the competitors making their way out onto the track. And starting on the pole, we Dick ProNyne out of Bridgewater, Massachusetts, the R&B Trucking-sponsored automobile. With Robert and Aki alongside for the ride out of Bridgewater, Massachusetts. 2 hometown drivers that share the same town. The number 8 will start on the outside of row number 1. Nick Macedonia will roll up next in the Columbus Auto Sales, number 92, with Jay Macedonia alongside the number 14, Sibling Rivalry in the 2nd row. George Rigo will roll up next, the Raceway Auto and Truck Repair, number 64. He's out of Dartmouth, Massachusetts, with Stanley Sherman in the number 20, in the Reynolds Auto Wrecking sponsored entry. He'll roll up 6th. Roscoe, Mark DeJesus, will roll up next, the 7th spot in the Westport Excavating automobile. And the 8th position will go to the Hormel Foods Torts Bar and Grill, number 4 of Robin Sloan. 9th position on the inside will be driver John Tripp out of Westport, Massachusetts, the Seekonk Grand Prix sponsored automobile, with the number 28 of Kevin Casper to roll up next in the 10th spot. 11th position goes to Tracy Ouellette, the Ziggy's Auto Specialties, number 87, and Mike Brightman in the number 27 will roll up next. The 13th spot on the track will be the number 21 of Brian Clark, and on the outside of him, the Wizard, the 24 of Ray Soulier. Billy Clark will roll off next. He's your point leader in the number 1, with the number 11 of Todd Anarumo to go outside in the 16th spot. Brendan McDermott will start 17th at number 84. The 18th spot will be Josh Wheeler, Steve Taylor, Joe LeMay, Mike Butts, Dave Banville, Don Carrero, Scott, and Tom Kiefer round out the field as they come down the front straightaway. The green flag flies, and Dick Benoit leads it down into turn number 2. Going down the back straightaway, Nick Macedonio's in tow in the number 92. Then it's the 8 automobile of Robert Anaki. Anaki hanging tough on the high side. George Rigo and Jay Macedonio all in the mix for the top 5 positions. As they go through turns number 1 and 2, the 8 of Anaki gets shuffled up to the top side of the speedway.
Down the back straightaway they go. Benoit sets the pace. Nick Macedonio on the 92. Rigo, just like in his heat event, working that second groove, trying to find his niche to the front of the field. Here comes Jay Macedonio in the 14.
Macedonio running strong on this high side on the outside of Roscoe de Jesus. That is your top 5 right there. But another driver that has been hot ever since his heat race and working his way through the front of the heat race field. Now he's working his way all the way up from 5th spot. Early on in this feature event is the number 64 of George Rigo. He's side by side with Dick Benoit as they come off turn number 4.
Double wide at the stripe, give the lead to Rigo as he leads the pack down into turn number 1. Benoit falls back to 2nd. The brothers Macedonio run for 3rd. Nick down on the bottom in the 92. Jay on the outside in the 14.
Roscoe de Jesus occupies that 5th spot on the track. He's being pressured by the number 18 of John Tripp. Tripp now is on the inside of Stanley Sherman. These drivers sit outside the top 5. There's battles going on all throughout the field. From 5th spot on back, Robin Sloan going side by side with Kevin Casper. Ray Soulier underneath them watching it all. Everybody looking for some racing room as they roll off at 2. Rigo sets the pace. Benoit in 2nd. Nick Macedonio 3rd. Problems as the 14 of Jay Macedonio goes around off of turn number 4. He brings out the first caution of the event. Everybody squeezes by, but Jay Macedonio gets sideways off the corner, and he'll have to join in at the rear. He was running just inside the top 5 when that happened. That's a tough break for the Columbus Auto Sales. Ken Diggett excavating number 14 for Macedonio. He was very strong in his heat race, and he was showing a lot of prowess in the feature event. Nick Macedonio, the second of the 2 brothers, runs in the 3rd spot right now. But the man we've been talking about has been George Rigo. He was very, very fast and competitive in his heat race event. He started mid-pack in the heat race and came up through there and finished in a very well-qualified spot, and now he leads the feature event. Don't forget to pick up your Seekonk Sentinel, because after this race we've got some prizes to be given away. Next Saturday night we are back on hand for a full night of racing action, including the Formula 4s, the Seekonk Sports Trucks, the Street Stocks, the Sportsman Division, and the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, in a double feature event for the 2nd time in 3 weeks. Twin 30s for the Pro Stocks next Saturday. Last week we saw 2 great features. Lenny Ellis picking up the win in the first race, and Dick Houlihan picking up his 3rd win in race number 2. Dick Houlihan's machine still on display up on the midway next to the CompuTrust display up on towards turn number 4 next to Victory Lane. So be sure to take a walk up there and check out the number 1 last Saturday night's feature winner. Of course, that is not the car he won and he's racing. That's the car that he runs at tracks like Lee USA, Thompson Speedway, and anywhere else he decides to go traveling, just not here. Phil gets the double up signal and the 1 to go. We should be going green when they come back around Rigo. And Benoit to set the pace. Phil's starting to bunch up in turn number 3. George Rigo's going to come to the line and pick up the gas. Steve Grant throws the green flag. We're back on the way with Seekonk Sports Truck competition. Rigo once again moves out in front. Macedonia on the bottom of ProNyne as they go down into turn number 3. Rigo comes off turn number 2 with the lead. He's starting to pull away from Macedonia in the second spot. Stanley Sherman comes to third, the 26 of Roscoe to Jesus. Everyone's starting to scramble from fourth on back. Robin Sloan, the Torch Bar and Grill automobile, trying to make her way up into the fray. She sits just inside the top 5 right now in that coveted 5th spot with Dick Benoit up on the high side. Ray Soulier, Tripp, and Casper all battling as they're all in a mix off turn number 4. As they come down the front straightaway, Billy Clark and Brian Clark's contact between father and son. Those two drivers are hooked up. The yellow flag flies. A tough break for your leader, your 2-point leaders actually. Billy Clark in the number 1, the father leading the points, making contact and locking bumpers with son Brian Clark in the number 21. Yellow flag is out on the speedway. Like we said before, George Rigo showing the way here in this Sport Truck feature event. A good run for Nick Macedonio and the Columbus Oil Company, number 92. Also another good run for your lady racer, Robin Sloan, the WWF-sponsored Hormel Foods Torch Bar and Grill, number 4. She raced her way into the top 5 position from the 8th spot, battling with guys like John Tripp and Ray Soulier.
So Clark and Clark continue to be locked over here on the front straightaway. And this will take a couple of minutes to separate them. And that's going to make for some interesting dinner conversation come tomorrow afternoon when they sit around and talk about their week's exploits as the families get together. And you got to wonder who's going to be to blame on that one. So Billy Clark, Brian Clark will have to come through from the rear of the field now as George Rigo sets the pace. The bumpers are locked on those two machines. So this will take a couple of seconds to pull them apart. Want to remind you, of course, if you were here early enough to watch the practice sessions, you saw a driver you don't normally see, but a driver you do regularly see when we run open shows. The outlaw, Jimmy McCallum, was running practice laps as fast as anybody else out on the raceway. Well, he was here practicing for the open competition race coming up in just a handful of weeks. The 16th of September, the Pro Stocks have an open competition event. Now, if you're looking at the schedule from the beginning of the season, the next few weeks you can kind of throw away because it's all changed. Next week, we've got Twin 30s for the Pro Stocks. In 2 more weeks, God, I didn't think it was going to come this quick, we will end our 2,000-point season. Who will be crowned champions? Well, we'll find out on Saturday night, September the 9th, as the Pro Stocks will go 50 laps, and the rest of the divisions will be on hand to crown the champions in all 5 of our divisions on September the 9th. Well, say you come September the 9th and Mother Nature cancels our show, well, we'll be back here the next day on the 10th. That is the official rain date for the 9th of September. 2 reasons for that. One, we don't want to give anybody, or we want to give everybody, a full chance to win the championship. Second of all, by joining the NASCAR sanction in the 2000 racing season, kind of got some obligations to run a certain amount of races to compete for the regional standings. Well, right now we're about 1 race short. That's why we're running Twin 30 laps next week for the Pro Stocks. And that'll put us right in line for the end of our point season and their point season, which ends on the 10th. Hopefully we'll get ours in on the 9th. And then in 3 weeks, I started to tell you the Pro Stocks are running a 100-lap open competition event on Saturday night, September the 16th. Bobby Gahan is scheduled to come down. Rumor has it that he'll be here. Charlie Rose is scheduled to come down. We'll see if he can bring home some of the gold. Drivers that you don't normally hear here, drivers like Donnie Melberg, Pete Frappier, are also scheduled to come down on that event on Saturday night, September the 16th. But we've got our favorites here, drivers like Rick Martin, Freddie Estelle, Bobby Tripp, Wayne Dion, Lenny Ellis, Dick Houlihan, some of our top drivers, and we'll see however many come down. We'll see if Matt Dewey, Billy Manchester, and all them can try to take home the gold in that event as well. That's Saturday night, September the 16th. The following week, the Sportsman Division, for the very first time after a lot of lobbying from teams and fans, will get their first ever 100-lap race for the Sportsman Division. An open competition race for them on Saturday night, September the 23rd. And a 50-lap street stock open competition event on that evening as well. So the next 4 weeks are very important as they lead up to the DAV Memorial on October 7th and 8th. I know last week I said the 14th and 15th. I was not paying full attention, I guess, to the schedule, and boy, did I hear about it afterwards. You know, you say one little thing wrong and everybody gets on you for it. But the 7th and 8th is the DAV Festival of Racing weekend, and what a weekend we have planned. The Pro Stocks, the Sportsman Division, the Street Stocks, Seekonk Sports Trucks, Formula 4s, all in open competition events. The Northeast Midget Association will be here. Word has we've got a couple of other drivers, teams in, series scheduled to come down. Heard rumors about the Pro 4 Modifieds making their first return in a couple of years. And the American Race Truck making their first ever appearance on that weekend as well. Don't know how official that is. We'll have to wait for the official word from the Seekonk officials and program makers. But I can guarantee you this, it is one race-filled, fun-filled weekend, some of the best racing you'll find anywhere in the Northeast, as drivers from all over New England come and compete in all of our divisions. Well, look at that. They finally got them separated, and they'll join in at the rear, and the field is just about set. We should get the clinch green flag in just a couple of moments in this Seekonk Sports Truck main event. 8 laps are complete. We have 12 laps remaining, and there's Steve Grant trackside, giving them the crossover signal. We'll go one more time and probably get the one to go when they come back around. So a little bit of a cleanup to do, puts us a little behind, but everything just rolling along. Lineup is set. Rigo, Nick Macedonio, Stanley Sherman, who just missed taking down the win last Saturday night, missed it by mere inches, and boy do I mean inches, with Todd Anarumo just beat him to the line. We'll see if Sherman can get back to the top of the heat. The field gets the one to go signal. Caution lights are out. George Rigo, Dick Benoit to bring him down to the green flag. Stanley Sherman, Roscoe DeJesus, row number 2. Robin Sloan and Ray Sully at row number 3. Dick Benoit, Johnny Tripp, Kevin Casper, and Mike Brayman that round out the top 10 as we get ready to roll.
George Rigo starts to pick up the throttle in turn number 3. Steve Grant throws the green flag. We're back underway here at the Seekonk Speedway for sport truck action. Rigo continues to lead it. Macedonia up on the high side, but look at Stanley Sherman on the bottom. He moves into that second position as he dives down into turn number 3. They're off the 4th corner. Roscoe DeJesus now going for the bottom side underneath Macedonia as they come across the line.
Rigo trying to hold on to that top spot. Stanley Sherman working that back bumper, looking high, looking low, looking every which way but loose. Cross flags, 10 down, 10 to go this time. Sherman takes another look down to the inside. Rigo gets sideways off a 4, able to gather it back in. Sherman gives him a shove in 1.
This week, Sherman is not going to be denied as you see him get a lot of forward bite down the back straightaway. He's underneath George Rigo in the 64. Rigo slides it just a little bit off too. Steve Grant yells at the both of them and points the flag at him as Rigo now slams the door and he holds the lead going back into turn number 2.
George Rigo holds the preferred line, the bottom line around this 1/3 mile oval. Stanley Sherman works the back bumper. takes a peek to the bottom one more time. Rigo, contact down the front straightaway. Rigo tries to shut the door. Sherman throws it wide open, takes a look to the inside off a 2, and we've got a new leader in lap number 12.
Good move for Stanley Sherman in the number 20. He gets underneath George Rigo. Here comes Roscoe DeJesus, also filing through in the Marks Motor sponsor, number 26. He comes to the 3rd spot, and he's making it a 3-car battle for the lead at the front of the field. Another driver that's been on the move is the number 4 of Robin Sloan.
Billy Clark spins off of turn number 4, keeps it rolling the field, thunders down underneath as Clark goes -1 to the field. Sherman sets the pace by 2 lengths now off of turn number 2. The 26 of DeJesus up there, and Robin Sloan trying to squeeze in down to the bottom. Rigo shuts the door.
Rigo definitely shuts the door, but he's losing valuable ground to the rest of the field. The car was very fast in the early stages of the race. Now as the race goes on and on, the truck appears to get looser and looser. Robin Sloan just nudges a bumper to him just a little bit as they come off the 4th corner with 5 laps to go.
5 more trips around the racetrack, and Stanley Sherman does not have the pressure that he had 1 week ago. He's got a 3-length lead over the 26 of DeJesus. Rolls off in turn number 4, 4 to go this time. Can he hold on? Battle right now for 5th on the racetrack. The 24 of Ray Sullier holds 6. Here comes the 92 of Nick Macedonio.
Macedonio hanging tough on the high side all race long. Ray Sullier gets underneath him for the top 5 spot. Now Benoit tries to go to the bottom as those drivers start rubbing fenders in turn number 4. Almost 3 wide as they hit turn 1. Macedonio now makes to the bottom. Contact made between Benoit and Macedonio. Billy Clark slides up the track, also locking up them front tires. Tough night for him indeed as the yellow flag flies. Caution on the speedway for the Columbus Oil Company, number 92 of Nick Macedonio.
So it looks like we've got 17 laps complete. 3 more times around. Dick Benoit running well inside the top 6 goes around. He and the 92 of Nick Macedonio get together as they were both running in the top 10. Billy Clark has had the kind of night that, well, I'm sure he's seen in the past, but nothing can hurt as much as this coming into tonight's racing action, leading the point standings by a scant 6 points over Brian Clark, his son. They hold down the top 2 spots, 533 to 527. Sitting in 3rd with 505 is Mike Brightman in the 17, who's in the 27 rather, having a decent night up to 6th now. Then you've got Tracy Ouellette with 483 and Kevin Casper with 479. So with Stanley Sherman, Roscoe DeJesus, and George Rigo up at the top, along with Robin Sloan, his lead appears to be in jeopardy only by the 21 of Brian Clark and the 27 of Mike Brightman. We'll see if he can hold on. He had a 50-point advantage over Tracy Ouellette. And while to tell you how they do the point standings, to win the feature event is 50 points. To finish second is 48 points. Finish third is 46. And now -2 each position back to the rear of the field with a minimum of 2 points. You can't get 0 points. You get a minimum of 2 for starting the feature event. So Tracy Ouellette, the best he could do is come within 2 points. That's if he won, and Billy Clark finished last. Well, I don't think that's going to happen with Ouellette, as he only runs inside the top 15 in that number 87. But the 21 of Brian Clark and the 27 of Mike Brightman could very well take over the top 2 positions in the point standings after tonight.
Stanley Sherman continues to lead the way. Roscoe DeJesus alongside for the ride. George Rigo, Robin Sloan, Ray Sullier, Dick Benoit. All of those drivers are in the mix. There's less than 5 laps to go in this feature event, the main event for the Seekonk Sports Trucks. The yellow flag continues to remain out on the track. Steve Grant has the field under his command. We've got some special events coming up for you, as Kevin said before. On September 23rd, it'll be the 100-lap open competition sportsman race, and of course the 50-lap open street stock. That will take place on September 23rd. A good night of racing here indeed. We're going to see drivers from all sorts of tracks around the area. And of course, on September 2nd, twin 30-lap Pro Stocks. And if you like the Pro Stock racing that you saw last week, you can get double your dose once again on September 2nd, as they're going to do twin 30 features again. Getting ready to go back to green here at the Seekonk Speedway. Stanley Sherman leads them off turn number 4. Mark DeJesus on the outside of row number 1 as they go into turn number 1. George Rigo into 3rd, Ray Soulier 4th. Todd Anarumo now makes his way up to the 5th position.
Twin sticks in the air 2 more times around. Sherman and DeJesus at the top of the field. Rigo and Soulier row number 2. Those are the top 4, and Anarumo up to 5th. He takes a look to the inside, but Soulier up off at turn number 2.
Anarumo charging hard up through the field. The yellow flag flies on the track, slowing all the competitors down. Rocky Hudson with the yellow flag in hand for the number 9 automobile. That car stuck down on the bottom of the track. Number 55 of Steve Taylor rolling very slowly in turn number 2. Still under caution flag conditions here at the Seekonk Speedway. It's been a good race thus far for Stanley Sherman. As the race has gone on, he's started to pull away more and more from George Rigo. As the laps click away for George Rigo, it appears that his tires start to get hot. He starts to lose the handle on that automobile, and the car starts to fade back a little bit. But this caution could be exactly what he needs. The long caution period to cool the tires down, which is really what he wants, because as the tires get hot, they get greasy, and you start to slip. So the officials motioning the number 9 of Scott Banville to the infield. Tough break for that driver. Double D Drecker getting all of the vehicles off the track. Big thank you to them for all of their support, as well as Silver Brothers Wrecking. We're getting set to go back to green. All 4 corner lights are out around the speedway. This lets the drivers know that the next time by, when they hit the gas, the green flag is going to be in the air. Stanley Sherman leading, continuing to lead. We're going to see what happens when we go back to green.
Looking forward off at turn number 4. Sherman and DeJesus bring to him a quick start, and it didn't look like Steve Grant likes that when he drops the lazy green. And this one's going to come back, I can tell you that. The yellow light shines in the corners, and we'll slow it up one more time. Exide Corporation, the world's oldest and largest manufacturer of automotive batteries in the world, is proud to be the official battery of NASCAR and sponsor of the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series, including the Exide Short Track Series by NASCAR. Exide is also the maker of the Exide NASCAR Select battery, the battery built by NASCAR fans for NASCAR fans.
So we're getting ready to go back to green once again for that false start. Steve Grant did not like the way they let him go. They give him the yellow flag down the back straightaway to let the drivers roll out of the throttle so no one's climbing all over anyone as they all start to jump out of the gas. However, we're getting set to go back in the gas as Stanley Sherman puts his foot to the floor, and we come down the front straightaway. Mark Roscoe DeJesus putting a challenge to him in turn number 1.
Double wide off at turn 2. Sherman sets the pace. Rigo back up in a second, looking for some racing room. Twin sticks in the air 2 more times around as they roll off a 4. Nose to tail, the top 4. Battle for 5th. Slowing on the outside in the 4. And Anarumo down low in the 11.
Anarumo really moving through the field. He gets underneath Robin Slow as he goes down the back straightaway. But this time by, the pearl flag is in Steve Grant's hand. Just 1/3 of a mile or one more lap. Trouble in turn number 4. John Tripp gets turned around. Dave Banville with nowhere to go clips the side of him. Luckily it was a glancing blow. The yellow flag flies with one more lap remaining, and the number 20 of Stanley Sherman has got to be getting frustrated. He knows he's just a lap away from the victory, but the caution flag flies once again.
All the end of the event, and everybody getting anxious, and Johnny Tripp looked like he was going after the 27 of Mike Brightman.
caution here at the Seekonk Speedway. The Double D Wrecker taking the wreck number 9 of Dave Banville off the speedway. Here comes the number 18 for John Tripp. Tough break for him. He was the cause of that caution. He'll retire back into the pit area with just one more lap remaining. Stanley Sherman in the Reynolds Auto Wrecking number 20 continues to lead the way, followed by George Rigo. Now this could be the absolute opportunity that George Rigo needs, because that truck is working better on cold tires. When they get these long caution periods, the temperature comes down in the tires and it can get a little more grip before it starts to heat up too much when you start to put laps on it. There's only a handful of laps to go, and George Rigo may only see this as his last-ditch effort to try to take the win away from Stanley Sherman.
It'll be a green-white checker finish as Johnny Tripp rolls back out of the pit area in the JM Equipment GMC pickup truck as the field gets resorted. Now you got to wonder, with that last restart, the 26 of DeJesus was able to hang with him down the front straightaway into the corner. Flashbacks of last Saturday night probably went through Sherman's mind. Different truck, same situation. Last week's winner will restart 5th with 2 laps. It's going to be tough for him to find himself at the top of the heap. George Rigo, though, knows his way around this 1/3 mile oval just as good as all the other drivers in this field. He's won in Sportsman Division, the Charger races, the Street Stocks, the Pro Stocks. He's also won in the trucks as they roll off at turn number 4. Sherman, Rigo off the corner. Green flag is back out. Drag race down into turn number 1. Sherman edges him in the corner.
2 wide in turn number 2. Sherman on the bottom, Rigo on the top. Tyler Arumo losing power in the number 11. He slips back to the rear of the field as the white flag flies with 1 more lap to go.
Sherman brings him down into turn 1. Rigo settles in for second. Here comes Sully around the outside, looking for running room on the outside of DeJesus. DeJesus holds him off at 3. Into 3 they go. Checkered flag in the air. Sherman rolls off the corner. This time he won't be denied as he picks up the win. Second will be George Rigo. Third will be the 26 of DeJesus, the 4 of Robin Sloan, and the 24 of Ray Soulier, your top 5 trucks.
So a good run. Last week he was just nipped by the line. This week he does the nipping and taken down. The feature event win. Good run for the Reynolds Auto Wrecking. Butler Trucking, number 20, for Stanley Sherman out of Lakeville, Massachusetts. Diamond Towing, Almeida Towing, and Murphy's Auto, other sponsors that go along with that truck. A good drive for him, coming all the way from his 6th starting spot, chasing George Rigo, who also moved to the front right away, was able to run Rigo down, get past him, and take down the feature event win.
So Sherman picks up win number 2 on the season. Congratulations to Stanley. Last week came real close. This week wasn't going to be denied. How about it as he rolls around? Driving the Murphy's Auto, Almeida Towing, Diamond Towing, Rose's Garage, Reynolds Auto Wrecking, number 20. Picking up his 2nd win of the 2000 racing season. And this is his 3rd season in the Seekonk Sports Truck, still gaining that oh-so-important experience. Well, while we've got this little bit of a break, I want to remind everybody who picked up a copy of tonight's Seekonk Sentinel, open it up to the Cisco's Performance page. We've got some prizes to be given away, 4 of them to be exact. Thanks to the folks at Quality Fruitland just up the road on Route 6. KND Design, Rent the Rest Back, and Race Car Jewelry. Want to thank those folks for helping us out once again. Once again, a big round of applause for Stanley Sherman taking down the win. The 4 lucky numbers are 59614, 59614. We've got 85917, 85917, 86198, 86198, and 59279, 59279. If you have one of those lucky numbers on your Cisco's Performance page, stop down at the base of the tower at the Seekonk Sentinel booth and claim your prize. While you're down there, pick up a copy of Trackside Magazine, which is also available. Several articles about Seekonk Speedway this month, and of course, many other interesting stories from a lot of great writers. Speedway Scene is also available down there as well. And of course, you can vote for your favorite driver in each division, and you can pick up that ballot in the Seekonk Sentinel. While you're down there, of course, once again, there's more opportunities to catch a ride on the Big Red Boat. The Big Red Boat has signed on with NASCAR as an official marketing supporter, and you can win a cruise on the Big Red Boat. All you have to do is stop down at the Seekonk Sentinel stand and fill out your entry ballot for that. And you can drop off a toy for the Racers Toy Drive, the second annual Racers Toy Drive. So stop on down there. A lot going on at the Seekonk Sentinel booth. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to ask you all to please rise. And gentlemen, please remove your caps as we pay tribute to the greatest nation in the world with our national anthem. Thank you very much. Before the street stocks roll out, just a couple more announcements. Once again, want to remind somebody, if you have lost a piece of jewelry here tonight, stop down at the main entrance on the front straightaway and see one of the officers down there. He may have what you're looking for. Got a couple of happy birthday announcements we want to send out. Happy birthday to Kelly Cooper from the entire 116 street stock team. Happy birthday to Linda. I'm probably not going to get this right. Cabasiris. I hope I got that. Linda Cabasiris. Linda C., happy birthday to you. Have a happy birthday going out to James Grandi, celebrating his 10th birthday. Happy birthday, James. And a happy birthday to Gail Pangelinin, the Seekonk Speedway secretary. All her hard work and effort. Happy birthday, Gail, from Brittany and the entire staff and management and team here at the Seekonk Speedway. Street stocks roll out onto the racetrack, 20 laps the distance for their main event. 26 cars will take the green flag. On the pole out of Warwick, Rhode Island, driving the custom drywall celebrity photo number 19, it's Pete Simpson. Outside of Simpson, out of Oak Bluff, Massachusetts, in the Bay State, towing and recovering, ARC Welding and Repairs number 99, it's Al Clements the third. That's the fourth. Starting third on the field is Louis Dias, and the finish line, Motorsports, nails by Viv, quality plastering number 7. Outside of Dias, out of New Bedford, Mass, the Motion Motors, Rick's Garage number 4 for Russ Horsfall. One win on the season has this driver out of Warwick, Rhode Island, driving the KND Designs. Terry's Auto number 30, it's Mike Van Ness. Outside of Mike, out of West Warwick, Rhode Island, in the Phoenix Fire Alarm, Allied Fire Protection number 65 from West Warwick, Rhode Island, it's Eddie Moniz. Seventh on the field, following his brother in the lineup, out of Warwick, Rhode Island, in the KND Designs Arena Incorporated number 9. 2 wins has this driver, it's Ryan Van Ness. Outside of Van Ness, out of West Warwick, Rhode Island, car number 06 for Steve Malcolm. 5 rows back on the inside, the Paul Bailey's Ford Baby Boomers number 37, out of Manville, Rhode Island, it's Jody Cirillo. And outside of Cirillo, in the Bow Video number 12, out of Pawtucket, it's Mark Langlois. Seekonk, Massachusetts, Rich Cavallero starts 11th on the field. He drives the number 6. Outside of him, out of Middletown, Rhode Island, the 116 for Jim Sylvia. The Conlin & Sons Refrigeration Broadway Kitchens number 5 is next. Out of North Dayton, Mass, it's Tom Furtado. And outside of him, 2-time defending track champion in the W.S. Shepherd Company Sanford & Sons Auto Parts number 21, it's Bobby Betancourt Jr. Joe McCourt will start next in the number 66. Outside of him in 16th spot Out of Berkeley, Mass, F. Bettencourt and Sons. Levex Tree Service, number 24. Our points leader, Bobby Rose. David Petty out of Asona in the number 25. And Jeremy Lilly in the number 8. Make up row number 9. Jamie Raposo in the number 3. The Grampy's Corner Store Machine. And outside of him, Barry Shaw Jr. in the number 85. Alex Bernard in the Edgartown Coffee Shop. Chase Road Garage, number 49. Mount St. George in the 01. Ray make up the next row with Al Clements the 3rd in the ARC Welding and Repair, 72. Doug Rio in the 2. Chris Rio in the 14. Brian Connors in the new Archie's Restaurant, number 23, and we're underway.
Going down into turn number 1. Mr. Pete Simpson leads the way. Louis Dias goes into second spot. Clemens the 4th is on the high side of Mike Van Ness. Van Ness now comes to the 3rd position with Ryan Van Ness in tow. Russ Horsfall right behind him. He sits just outside your top 5.
3-wide action deep in the pack. You've got the 5 of Tom Furtado down to the bottom. Mark Langlois in as well. Jim Sylvia rim riding around the racetrack in the blue and white 116. He's looking for racing room that he just can't find.
Sylvia likes to go up to the top of the track. You can see he's making it work for him in the 116 as he's way up to the top side, the 3rd groove off turn number 2 on the outside of Mark Langlois. However, action moves back to the 4th spot with Ryan Van Ness on the inside of Al Clemens the 4th in the Western Auto, number 99.
Clemens works the outside, that gray number 99 off of turn number 2. Black flag out for, I believe, Chris Rio in the 14. Up front battle is for 4th. Still will watch that battle. Ryan Van Ness down to the bottom. He takes that spot away, follows his brother through. Here comes Jody Cirillo in the 37. Problems off of 4. Joe McCourt spins in the 66. He sits right in the middle of the racetrack, and the field comes down hard, and, well, looks like everybody will slow up in time.
Good heads-up driving by everyone to stay on the binders and watch where all the cars were starting to go. Everyone took evasive action, and luckily the number 66, no damage falls him. Joe McCourt in the blue and yellow car. He'll now go back into the infield to have his crew assess any damage that's done on that car. But as it goes right now, your leader is the number 19 for Pistol Pete Simpson, followed by Louis Dias and the Nails by Viv, number 7. Then it's the KNDdesigns.com, number 30 for Mike Van Ness. 4th spot, it's Ryan Van Ness, the KNDdesigns.com, number 9. Jody Cirillo and Al Clemens, the 4th, are talking amongst themselves in the back straightaway for their top 5 spot. But right behind them is the Phoenix Fire Alarm, number 65 of Eddie Moniz. Russ Horsfall right behind him. Then it's Caballero, Tom Furtado, the 21 of Bob Bettencourt, Bobby Rose right behind him, and Pepe, Jim Sylvia in the 116. And keep an eye on the 116 of Jim Sylvia. He's a driver that likes to use the high side of the speedway. If you watch him, he practically scrapes the nerve bars off the back straightaway wall as he goes up to the top of the track and uses that 3rd groove way up to the further side of the speedway than anyone else. It's a little tougher to run out there. You need to use a lot more engine. You got to keep your foot to the floor a little bit longer, and you're traveling that further of a distance.
I want to apologize to a couple of people. I was given a note earlier this evening, and I promised myself I would do this, and guess what? I dropped the ball. We want to wish a very happy anniversary to the crew members of the number 86 Formula 4 driven by Bill Caswell. Celebrating their 11th year of going fast and turning left, Matt and Joyce Coles celebrating their 11th anniversary tonight. I want to apologize. I forgot. The note's been sitting in front of me all night long, and, well, I didn't get it done. I want to apologize to the entire 86 Formula 4 team, but I want to wish a very happy anniversary to Matt and Joyce Coles from the number 86 race team and from all the staff and management here at the Seekonk Speedway.
Steve Grant holds the flag up high, up in the flag stand over Pistol Pete Simpson and the number 7 of Louis Dias. Those are the 2 drivers that are going to bring the field down. He's going to let them know when he shows them at the line. At the stripe, he points to the 2 drivers and shows them, right here, boys, at the line is where I'm going to be waving the green flag. They have the option, though, at the line at turn number 3 to start picking up the throttle. The leader sets the pace. and he judges when he brings the field down for the green flag on the restart.
Pete Simpson looking for his first win on the 2000 racing season, as is Louis Dyson, the number 7. Behind them, the Vaness brothers, both looking for Rookie of the Year honors. Each have at least one. Mike has one, Ryan has 2. And row number 3, both of these drivers looking for their first ever street stock win. Al Clemens the 4th and Jody Cirillo. We'll see what happens as they get ready to roll up of turn number 4. Steve Grant looks him over and waves the green flag. Simpson with a huge jump over Dias. Dias settles in. Mike Vaness gets into him. Vaness gets sideways, able to gather it in. He loses a host of positions. Here comes Mike Vaness down to the bottom for second.
Ryan Vaness moving underneath the number 7 of Louis Dias in the 4th corner. Take the runner-up spot away for Ryan Vaness in the WE Parade, number 9. Now he's got his sights set on Pistol Pete Simpson of the number 19. Simpson is on a breakaway from the rest of the field. He got a good advantage on the restart.
Off at turn number 4, Dias takes a look to the inside of Ryan Vaness. Ryan slides out of turn number 4, just holding on to that spot. No love lost between these two drivers. They've been going at it all season long. Now Dias takes a look to the inside of Vaness. Vaness tries to shut the door, but Dias has the inside groove. Sparks fly off at turn number 4, slideways off of 4, and give the spot to Dias at the stripe.
This is Excel Street Stock Charger action at its best. Dias comes back underneath the number 9 of Ryan Vaness. Here comes Jody Cirillo up into the mix. The defending Rookie of the Year is now on the bottom and in the top 5 as he moves underneath the number 9 of Ryan Vaness. Al Clemens the 4th now coming to the 5th spot as everyone is starting to back up behind him.
Problems, the 116 of Sylvia sideways off at 2. He gathers it back in. Bobby Rose, just had to back her off the throttle as he tried to squeeze on the outside between he and the 5 of Furtado as they all race for positions just outside the top 10.
The top 4 goes bumper to bumper down into turns number 3 and 4. Pistol Pete Simpson continues to lead the way. However, further back through the pack, we've got battles going on all over. Tom Furtado and Pepe Jim Sylvia sit just inside the top 10 if they're not battling for the top 10 spot. As they're side by side, Sylvia gets the advantage as they go into turn number 3. All of the top 10 comes across the line, bumper to bumper.
Bobby Betancourt with a problem on the 21, smoking the right front as it rubs into the bumper and getting pushed by Mark St. George down the front straightaway. Up front, Pete Simpson leads a freight train off at turn number 4 in the number 19. The 7 of Dias, the 37 of Cirillo, the 9 of Vaness, and the 99 of Clemens right there, rounds off the top 5. Nose to tail down the back straightaway.
Nose to tail they go, but Ryan Vaness goes to the bottom of Jody Cirillo as they go into turns number 3 and 4. Halfway signal has been given. Cirillo and Vaness making contact in turn number 1. Cirillo checks up. He loses valuable ground. Clemens now gets underneath the number 37. Problems on that automobile. He may have cut a tire, jumping the wall in the back straightaway, and the caution flag flies for the Baby Boomers, number 37 of Jody Cirillo.
Well, he definitely has a left rear tire that is flat. He's got some right front damage now. He'll lift that car into the pits as Mark St. George tries to make it in. He stalls that machine just at the tunnel entrance, and we're just at the halfway point. 25 laps the distance for the street stock main event tonight. Then don't forget, after tonight, next Saturday, twin 30-lap pro stock main events next week. Exciting pro stock racing action. We've got a full field of cars on hand tonight. Missing a driver. Haven't seen Ray Alexander this evening. Got to wonder what's happening with that team as he takes a week off. So that would put 26, but it's still a stellar field here tonight of pro stock racing action. Twin 30s next Saturday night. The XI Sportsman Division, the Excel Charger Street Stocks, the Formula 4s, and the Seekonk Sports Trucks all on hand next Saturday. And in 2 weeks, it's coming way too quick, I tell you, we crown our 2000 racing champions. Right now, our current points leaders are Fred Estelle in the Pro Stocks, Bobby Rose in the Street Stocks, Kenny Spencer in the Sportsman Division, Billy Clark in the Seekonk Sports Trucks, and Dan Perry in the Formula 4s. Will they be able to hold on? I don't think Dan Perry comes out of here tonight with the point lead, but we'll wait and see for the official standings. The Seekonk Sports Trucks, I don't think Billy Clark leads here with the points lead. but we'll find out. Bobby Rose, oh, what a season this driver is having. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the street stocks. Currently leading the division in points and with wins. He has 4 wins on the season and currently holds a 54-point lead over Bobby Betancourt, our defending track champion. Betancourt's got some problems. Matter of fact, he's in the pit area getting that problem taken care of with the bumper dragging into the right front tire. Third place is Tom Furtado. Furtado just about 80 points behind Betancourt. So Betancourt not in danger of losing second place tonight, but if his luck continues on a downward spiral, it could hurt him. In the street stock, in the sportsman division, Kenny Spencer holds a 15-point lead over James Lawrence and Dave Titus. And Jerry DeGasperi is 30 points behind there. And in the pro stocks, Freddie Estelle has just about a 24-point lead over his car owner, Rick Martin. So points are tight. Just a couple of races left. Betancourt will make it right back out onto the racetrack as we go back to green.
Pistol Pete Simpson to the point. Louis Dias alongside for the ride. They're going to hit the stripe in turn number 3. They give it the gas. Simpson's another good jump on the restart. The top 3 drivers on a breakaway from the rest of the field as they come off turn number 2.
Jeremy Lilly did not come up to speed in the number 8. He's at the rear of the field. Problems down the backstretch. Eddie Moniz slides down the back straightaway, a full 360 plus. The 6 of Cavallero is also involved. Cavallero pulls away. Moniz gets that machine rolling. We stay under green. The field rolls down into 3.
No caution flies, and Pistol Pete Simpson continues to lead the way. Ryan Van Ness in the number 9 runs in the 2nd position. Louis Dias 3rd. 4th is Al Clements. Then it's Russ Horsfall right behind him. They're dicing for spots for the 2nd spot right there. Ryan Van Ness up on the high side of Louis Dias, and they're 2 by 2 off turn number 4.
10 laps to go in this 25-lap main event. Pete Simpson sets the pace. Louis Dias squeezes down to the bottom, takes the spot away. Van Ness tries to slingshot off of turn number 2, but Dias holds on the bottom line. Behind them, Russ Horsfall slides to the inside of Al Clements. He takes that spot away. Van Ness back to the inside of Dias. Sparks fly down into 1.
Van Ness on the bottom. Dias now shifted up to the top of the track. The race is for the 2nd spot out there on the speedway. Those drivers have got to work together because the more they race each other, the more they slow each other down, and that's allowing the number 19 of Pistol Pete Simpson to slowly start to drift away.
Doesn't look like anything will deny Simpson. He's got a 4-length lead off it to Dias. Back to the bottom of Van Ness. Into 3 they go. Contact. Sparks in the middle of the corner. Dias down on the bottom in the 7th. Van Ness up high in the 9. Give the advantage to Van Ness. Here comes the 116 of Sylvia. He's up inside the top 5. So is the 5 of Furtado.
These 2 drivers have been charging up through the field all race long. They started mid-pack. Sylvia was using the high line of the speedway to get around drivers. Furtado was going through the holes that Sylvia was making, and both of those drivers have started to come to the front. It's a good race from 2nd on back.
That's the race we're watching. Simpson with a 4-length lead. Races for 2nd. 5 to go. Contact again in the battle for 2nd. Van Ness sliders off the corner. Sylvia makes it 3 wide into 1. The battle for 2nd off of the 2nd corner. Sylvia on the outside. Van Ness in the middle. Dias down to the bottom. Furtado looking for a hole through. Tom Furtado on the bottom. Ryan Van Ness caught in the center of the sandwich. 1 car turned to the back straightaway in turn number 3. He keeps it going. We stay under green flag conditions as there's good battle going on with Pepe. Jim Sylvia going to the outside of Ryan Van Ness and Tom Furtado to move into that 3rd place. 3 more times around. Simpson sets the pace. Sylvia working the outside groove. He's gone 2 and 3 wide up to the front of the field. Down the back straightaway, Dias down to the bottom. The 116 of Sylvia working that outside groove. Off of 4 they come. 3 laps to go. This time by. Sylvia may have a run for your leader as they head down in 1.
If Sylvia's going to do something, he better do it in the next 2 laps. You can see him go all the way up to the top side of the speedway, carrying his momentum in that 116 to try to run down the Edgartown Coffee Shop number 19 of Pistol Pete Simpson. Simpson hanging in there as he tries to keep Pepe at bay, but look at Pepe up on the outside. This was with the final 2 circuits on the track.
White flag is out. The field rolls off a 4. At the line, it's a dead heat for the lead. Simpson is led from the drop of the green, but on the last lap, will he lose it all? Sylvia on the outside gets a 1/2 length advantage. into 3, throws it in deep in the corner. Simpson down to the bottom. Off before they come. Sideways goes Simpson. Sylvia picks up the win. Simpson in for second. Dias for Tato. And Ryan Benass, unofficially the top 5. Well, how about that? That is what they call a barn burner. Taking down the win. His second win of the 2000 racing season. How about a big round of applause for our Excel Charger Street Stock feature winner out of Middletown, Rhode Island, Jim Sylvia. Now that is what street stock racing is all about. Give it all you have. Get everything you can out of the car. These drivers are learning fast. Some of these drivers have been running in these cars for a few years and have a little bit of an advantage. But when it comes to street stock racing, the car is the equalizer. If the car won't go, you can't get there. If the car will go, you put it where you need it to and get to the front. And Jim Sylvia did what he had to do. He came off the corners high and wide and made it work for him to pick up his second win of the 2000 Racing Series here on CompuTrust night, Exide Batteries night, and he'll sit in victory lane. Don't forget, while you're walking around the Midway, stop up at the CompuTrust Computer Systems display. They've got 3 computers up and running right now. Jim Sylvia, well, he could show you how to run that NASCAR 3 game just about now after riding that one.
Well, Kevin, you called it before. To watch Jim Sylvia run up along the high side of the speedway. That's where he carried most of his momentum, and probably where he had his foot in the gas a lot longer than a driver does on the bottom, because when you're on the bottom, you make a harder access around the track, and you also have to play with the throttle a little bit more. The Pro Stocks NASCAR Weekly Racing Division is now out on the speedway. This is the premier division here at the Seekonk Speedway. It's going to be real exciting. 35 laps to be the distance. And starting on the pole, he's from Seekonk, Massachusetts, the driver of the number 87 for Mike Cavallaro. The outside of row number 1, Alan McClure from Derry, New Hampshire, in the DeAndrea Foods, number 77, will roll off second. John Dabrowski in the Columbia Chiropractic, number 00, will go on the inside of road number 2 with Jeff Goodrow out of Pembroke, Mass. in the Litchfield's Art and Sign, number 31, to start along the outside of the second row. Tom Scully will start on the inside of the 3rd row in the 5th spot, the Universal Ambulance, number 2, and right on the outside of him, the number 17, the Norris H. Tripp-sponsored automobile for Ray Parent. Bob Pillen Jr. will roll up next, the Rollaway Disposal entry, the number 12, and the driver of Swansea, Massachusetts, the Baker Tractor Company, the number 11, it's Vinny Anarumo. The 9th position finds the BOC Gases, number 41 of Lenny Ellison. On the outside of him, the J. Fisk Excavating, number 02 for Matt Dewey. Up next, it's Bob Tripp out of Westport, Massachusetts, the Blanchette's Boutique entry, with the number 46 of Chad Chase, the Viveros Insurance Company, number 46 to start in the 12th spot. 13th is Billy Manchester out of Westport, Massachusetts. This driver sits 3rd in the point standings. He's out of Westport, out of the Rainbow Rental-sponsored automobile. And on the outside of him, the 24 of Radical Rick Martin, the G. Lopes Construction Northeast Recycling-sponsored entry. And his employee, Freddie Estelle, who sits atop the point standings, the New England Recycling, number 14. On the outside, the 16th position, it's the J&R Precast Precision Engine, number 1, for Dick Houlihan in the number 16. The 17th spot is the number 99, the Rhode Island Drive Shaft automobile for Neon, Wayne Dion. The 18th position will find the driver, the number 38, the Cox Communications, OSO.com, sponsor number 38, it's Keith Morrow. The 19th position goes to Danny Gamache out of Manville, Rhode Island, in the number 27. On the outside of him, happy birthday to the birthday boy, 44 years old, and 44 is the number of Jimmy Rosenfield's car. The 21st spot goes to Dave Poyer out of East Taunton, Massachusetts, the Pontiac Grand Prix automobile. Skip Shoemaker in the 22nd spot, the Roadstone Corporation, number 20, and the 23rd and final spot is the number 7 of Wayne Newman out of Cumberland, Rhode Island. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, 23 cars, 35 laps to be the distance, and in the end, only one man will stand alone. These are the fastest cars that you're going to see here tonight at the Seekonk Speedway. They are the fastest reacting time. They move the fastest. They are the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks. Mike Cavalero and Alan McClure are going to bring the field down for the beginning of 35 laps of hard Seekonk Speedway action. And remember, if you like what you see here tonight, you can join us back here next week with Twin 30s, ladies and gentlemen. Twin 30 lap Pro Stock events coming up September 2nd next weekend here. And it's going to be a real treat to watch them not once, but twice. Twice as nice for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks.
8 drivers have visited Victory Lane this season.
So a couple of quick hot laps to heat up the engines and the tires. They want to bring all the equipment up to operating temperature. Mike Cavallero, your pole sitter, will start on the pole. This time by. The yellow lights are going to go out around the speedway, and then after that, from then on, it's showtime. As Mike Cavallero and Alan McClure are going to bring the field down. 35 laps to be the distance. 23 drivers are going to start in this race, but in the end, only one man will stand alone.
Dabrowski pulls out of line in the double zero. Got to wonder if there's a problem on his mount as the field closes up. Last week we saw our 8th different feature winner pick up the win. Lenny Ellis was our 8th feature winner of the season. Dabrowski pulls out of line. He wants to join at the rear. And we're ready to go.
Got to move everyone up as the field starts to bunch up in turn number 3. Get on the edge of your seats, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be real interesting. Yellow flag comes back out onto the track. Caution on the speedway. We are yet to go to green flag action.
What they have to do is cross the field from third on back. That'll put the 31, yep, row number, nope, they've got to put the 31 of Goodrow to the inside, Scully on the outside, and cross them back. Nope, they're going to go this way. They're going to move up the inside line. Vinny Inarumo drops out, and he's going to protest this one and keep us under yellow. So now they get the crossover signal, and that'll put those on the inside to the outside up one, and those on the outside to the inside. On the same row, Dabrowski will start at the rear of the field. So that's the confusion here on where you restart. The front row doesn't change, everybody else does. And this is the key to the Pro Stocks, is lane choice. You get some good cars starting up at the front, but you got the faster cars starting in the rear. You've got, well, Vinny Inarumo, Bobby Pellin, Matt Dewey, Lenny Ellis, Chad Chase, Bobby Tripp, Billy Manchester, Rick Martin, Wayne Dion, Freddie Estelle, Dick Houlihan. All the top cars starting 8th on back, well, 7th on back now. So who gets the better lane choice? Do you start on the inside or the outside? Who's going to go? Which lane is going to be quicker? The outside lane or the inside lane? Who's going to have the advantage? Nobody knows right now. We'll find out as we're ready to start. Alan McClure decided it just wasn't right for him, and these are the pro stocks, ladies and gentlemen. As the field rolls under caution. We have yet to get the green flag. Want to thank the good folks at CompuTrust for coming down tonight and celebrating with us on a beautiful Saturday evening. Want to thank you fans for joining us. Want to thank Exide Corporation, the Exide Batteries, for joining us here as well. Great to see them in the NASCAR fold for the 2000 racing season, as they have picked up the short track series and the regional points, the second tier, which is our sportsman division here at the Seekonk Speedway. So we're ready to roll. Now the field is set. Now they get the clinch green flag. Now the caution lights are out. And now the drivers are ready to roll.
Everyone is in their right positions. Lights are out around the speedway, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Caballero and Alan McClure are going to bring the field down. Get ready and get on the edge of your seat, because this is the fastest division you're going to see here tonight, the premier division, the Pro Stocks. They're coming up to the line. They pick up the throttle. The green flag flies, and we're underway.
Caballero gets a little bit of an advantage from McClure. Got him back on the outside as they go double wide. Down the back straightaway, the Palm Landscaping Pontiac, number 77, inches out off of turn number 4. And at the stripe, McClure will lead lap number 1.
Alan McClure real fast on the top side of the speedway, slingshots around Mike Caballero to take the lead. He's still hanging out there on the top side of the speedway. Now he drops in the line. Jeff Goodrow into third, Ray Parent to fourth, and rounding out your top 5 is Tom Scully.
Scully tries to hang out up high. Parent down on the bottom. He's only a sophomore on the Pro Stocks, but look at him run the bottom. Takes a look to the inside of Goodrow up a 4. Looks for position number 3.
Ray Parent with a good run down on the bottom of the track. Jeff Goodrow hanging tough on the high side. They're 2 by 2 from third on back, with Anarumo underneath Scully and Matt Dewey underneath the 12 and Bob Pellin. But there's a lot of good drivers from there on back in the mix, such as Chad Chase, Rick Martin, and Dick Houlihan.
Bumper tag on the inside, and everybody gets crunched up, and Rick Martin's got some right front damage. Rick Martin heading towards the pits. He's got the right front of the machine crushed in. He's got a flat right front tire. You got to wonder if there's some suspension damage there as well. He gets it straightened in the tunnel, and Martin has some extensive repairs to make. Chad Chase has a problem. He is smoking severely on the back bumper. That all started when Ray Parent got into the back bumper of Mike Caballero off of turn number 2. Everybody played bumper tag. The accordion effect took place, and what that is, well, at the front, they just barely hit. In the middle of it, they hit, but not too hard. And behind that, boy, did they make some contact, and you saw that with Chad Chase and Rick Martin there. Dick Houlihan has a little bit of front-end damage. Don't know if that's going to hurt him or not, but that's what happens when the pack runs in tight formations. So we're under our first caution of the event. Just 3 laps are complete, 4 laps complete. Still 31 laps remain in this 35-lap Exide Battery Corporation CompuTrust Pro Stock main event.
Well, Alan McClure takes the long haul from Derry, New Hampshire each and every week with that number 77, and he's come down here since the beginning of the season. He takes the long ride, well, simply because he likes the Seekonk Speedway, he likes the competition, and he likes the door-to-door action that takes place here each and every Saturday night. Mike Caballero, a good run for him in the second spot. He's been hanging in there all day, and Ray Parent, an exceptional drive for this sophomore driver. His second year, his second full season in the Pro Stocks. He's doing an exceptional job, a graduate of the Formula 4s, and then from then on, he ran TQ Midgets for a small time, driving for Chris DeRocher. Running in the 4th position is Jeff Goodrow in the number 31. He's been hanging in there. He's been in the front of the field all day long, and right behind him, another driver that's won a feature event here earlier this year, the 11 of Vinny Anarumo.
We'll give one more lap to Rick Martin, and then we're ready to go. We'll see if he can get that machine ready. Actually, we're ready to go. The clinch green flag, the caution lights go out. Is Rick Martin done for the night? No, he isn't. Here comes Chad Chase. The officials are saying he's getting ready to roll out. We'll have to wait and see. Chase picks it up at the rear. Alan McClure and the 87 of Mike Cavallaro at the point. And there's Charlie Santalea pointing to the road. And that can only mean one thing. Martin sticks his nose out. He's ready to join. We're ready to roll.
Steve Grant lets the field go this time by once again. The entire field rips past, and Radical Rick Martin's going to take up the rear of the field, but Alan McClure, the number 77, a good restart for him. He pulls away from second on back.
Cavallaro trying to hold into that runner-up position. He's got the 31 of Goodrow working the outside, right there and right behind, looking for some running room. The 2 of Tom Scully. Motors on by on the outside. Goodrow looks to be up to second as Cavallaro slides back just a hair.
Right behind him, being caught in that traffic, is the number 17 of Ray Parent. Now Parent looking to the outside. Anarumo gets sideways going in. Ellis turns the car around. Danny Gamache and another car involved. Everyone starts to stack up in turns number 1 and 2. And the caution flag flies. Dick Houlihan with severe damage on that automobile. And one of the drivers that was lucky enough to make it through there was Radical Rick Martin.
Well, Lenny Ellis was just sitting there. The 34 of Dave Corey was running at the rear of the field. He came into turn number 1. Saw the action at the top of the field with Jimmy Rosenfield, Danny Gamache, the 7 of Wayne Newman, and it looks like it might be the 25 of Brian Souza up there. He went to the bottom, and, well, before you knew it, he was into the 41 of Lenny Ellis. So severe damage on Poirier's Pontiac as he throws a trail of liquid behind, and damage to the New England Tractor Trailer Training School, BOC Gases. Bob Sunoco, number 41 of Lenny Ellis. So this will take a few minutes to clean up. The cars in turn number 1. Newman is okay. It looks like Souza is okay. Danny Gamache and Jimmy Rosenfield are there as well. Nope, that is the 46, I believe, of Chad Chase, who is up there. You see the yellow uniform. Can't see it because the 7 of Newman is there, but Chad Chase, that is him. He is out of the car. He is okay. And this will all but kill his chances at the championship with just 3 races left after tonight. And with Rick Martin having his problems in the 24, he's pit side. Dick Houlihan getting ready to go to the pits. The reason they're sitting there is the red flag has actually been displayed, and the drivers have been told to stop on the racing surface to give us a few minutes and clean track to clean up these 4 machines. So the 7 of Wayne Newman, the 46 of Chad Chase, the 27 of Danny Gamache, and the 44 of Jimmy Rosenfield together down there in turn number 1. This will take a couple of minutes to clean up.
Well, you said that Rick Martin went back into the pit area. That's actually a very smart move on that driver. He knows he's got a lengthy yellow flag period in hand here because they're separating some vehicles. When they got Martin's car ready, he came out and he picked up the rear of the field. Only a lap or 2 was completed. He didn't really come back up through the field, so he knows now that he can bring the car back into the pit area, have the crew check it over to see if there's any more damage that may break during the course of the race, get it fixed, or get any other damage they can fixed a little better so Martin can get to the front a little quicker when we go back to green flag racing.
So we've got 6 laps complete, so plenty of time for him to work his way through the field, and 4 cars, it looks like, may be out of the racing action for the night. We'll see if Dick Houlihan in the number 1, the JNR precast machine, can get that machine straightened out. Alan McClure, what a good run he's had. He is yet to win a pro stock race here at the Seekonk Speedway. He has been traveling south of Derry, New Hampshire for, I don't know, 15 years on and off. The last 6 have seen him come each and every Saturday night down here. He'd run up north, didn't like the politicking, and didn't like the way the races were run, decided to come down here one night, enjoyed himself. It was actually an open competition event. Enjoyed himself so much he decided to make it a weekly trek. So Alan McClure in his own equipment for a few years, sold it all, and then got the ride. And the man he sold it all, Peter Palm, bought all his equipment as he had teamed up with another driver. That didn't work out, so Alan McClure back in the fold with Peter Palm. You see the damage to the number 7 of Wayne Newman, the right front of that machine, and the 46 of Chad Chase. He's looking over the Viveris Insurance Chevrolet to see if he can get that machine back into racing action, but a lot of left rear damage and a lot of right front damage, so it's going to be tough for him to continue on. So 6 out of 35 complete, 29 laps remain. The 49 of Rosenfield is rolled off the carnage, and it looks like he may be okay to continue on. We'll see what the damage is on Gamash's. Yep, Chad backs that machine off on his own. He's got left rear tire flat at least. That is the least of his damage, though. As you can see, the body is pushed up, and a good look at the chassis cage on that distance chassis machine. So, well, it didn't take as long as we thought it would. The damage looked a lot worse. Wayne Newman getting the worst of the wear as Gamache, Rosenfield, and Chase all able to drive away under their own power. And the field gets the fire-up signal, and Houlihan's number 1 will need a tow back to the pit area to get the damage on that machine taken care of. So, pit area is full, fast, and furious on people getting ready to come back out. And we'll see who can make it and how long it takes them, as this will close up the rear of the field to the front of the field. The drivers getting anxious. The end of the season is near. 3 more races, 2 more weeks for the Pro Stocks after tonight. Oh, how is that possible? 2 weeks, 3 races? Very simple. Next Saturday night, the Pro Stocks will have twin 30-lappers. That's right, 60 laps total, a 30-lap race, a break in between while we run some more features, and then another 30-lap main event for the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series Pro Stocks next Saturday night. Last week, Lenny Ellis and Dick Houlihan picked up the wins. Tonight, well, it could be Alan McClure's night. Jeff Goodrow seems to be running strong the last several weeks. Tom Scully has been on and off, but he looks strong tonight. And how about Ray Parent in that number 17? Interesting story about that machine. That car has more wins, more championships under its belt than just about every other car out here combined. We'll tell you, try to get that story in a little later on as we give the driver some courtesy laps. Lenny Ellis comes back out, and you can see the damage on the right side of that BOC Gases Chevrolet, the orange and white machine. And we'll see if Martin, Houlihan, Chase, Rosenfield, Gamache, see if they can make it back out onto the racing surface as well. So we'll give them another lap under the caution flag. Here comes Martin back out onto the racetrack. A lot of 90-mile-an-hour tape on the front end of that machine, a lot of duct tape keeping the nose of that from spreading apart. Here comes John Dabrowski back out onto the racetrack. So we've got 16 cars out of the original 25 out on the racetrack right now. We'll see how many more decide to join us in the next couple of moments as the field runs under the caution flag. Let's run the field down for you with 6 laps complete. Alan McClure in the number 77 sets the pace. The 31 of Jeff Goodrow will restart on the outside of row number 1. The 87 of Mike Cavallaro and the 2 of Tom Scully is 3rd and 4th. The 17 of Ray Parent and the 11 of Vinny Anarumo, 5th and 6th. 7th will be the 12 of Bobby Pellin. 8th, the 02 of Matt Dewey. 9th, the 81 of Bobby Tripp. And rounding out the top 10, the 95 of Billy Manchester. That's how they run on the racetrack right now. Freddie Estelle out of line. He'll join in right where he belongs.
under caution flag conditions, the Pro Stock field faces the Seekonk Speedway. Attrition has taken its toll over this field that started 23 cars. We're down to 16. We've got a few stragglers coming back out onto the track. Jimmy Rosenfield, Skip Shoemaker, and now Chad Chase also makes his way up into the fray. So getting some cars returning to the track. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens when we go back under racing conditions.
Steve Grant gives the field the one to go signal. The caution lights are out. He tells them to bunch it up because we're ready to roll. 29 laps remain in this Pro Stock Marathon. I guess you can call this round number 3. The bell is about to ring. The fighters are about to come out of the corner. And to lead it off is going to be the race for the lead. The 77 of Alan McClure and the 31 of Jeff Goodrow. The 87 of Mike Cavallero and the 2 of Tom Scully. The top 4 cars ready to bring him down. Grant looks him over. McClure brings him slow. Down into turn number 3. Goodrow looking for the jump. They get to the stripe. McClure gets the advantage. Goodrow gets up 3 wide heading into 1. He shuts the door on the 2 of Scully.
With all that going on, that allows Mike Cavallero to sneak down underneath Goodrow to try to take the second spot away. Ray Parent with trouble on that automobile. He drifts all the way back to the rear of the field. However, yellow flag flies for Skip Shoemaker. He brings out the caution, the number 20.
A little quick on the gun there as Shoemaker was starting to roll away when Grant grabbed the caution and waved it in the air. And the 17 of Ray Parent, a problem on that machine on the restart, and he heads towards the pits.
So a tough break for Ray Parent, who was running very strong in the field. He was running up at the front of the field throughout the feature event thus far. Only a handful of laps in the record books in this 35-lap feature event. That finds the 77 of Alan McClure out in front now. Vinny Anarumo pulling ahead of the field, out of line, out of formation, and the caution lights come back on the speedway.
Well, he knows that the lineup is not 100% correct. He belongs on the inside of row number 3 because he was ahead of the 12 of Bobby Pellin. The Matt Dewey in the 02, Billy Manchester in the 95 all realized what was happening so quick to get back to green that they lined up the formation. The formation did not get into the lineup correctly, and they pulled out of line. Now we're just about all set as the scorers go over it one more time, and we should be going in just another lap. There we go. The caution lights are out. The field is set, and we're ready to roll.
Once again, the field starts to bunch up, getting bumper to bumper in turns number 3 and 4. Alan McClure looking for that good jump once again, and he gets it off the 4th corner over Jeff Goodrow. Goodrow drifts up high once again, and that opens the door for Cavallero.
Cavallero tries to squeeze in down the bottom, but Goodrow shuts the door. Down into 3. Scully works the outside groove. He gets up to the outside of Cavallero off of turn number 4 to cross the stripe. And here comes the 12 of Pellin and the 99 of Dion on the outside.
Pellin into the 6th spot. Matt Dewey underneath them. They're battling for 6th and 7th. They have Vinny Anarumo in the number 11 right in front of them. However, Matt Dewey getting the leg up on the number 12 of Bob Pellin as they come off of turn number 2. Dewey utilizing that low line as he dives down into the 3rd corner. Now trouble. Mike Cavallero spins around, comes up the track. Everyone goes scattering. Evasive actions made by everyone, the entire field. A little bit of contact out there between a couple of drivers, but everyone was heads up on that one. And the yellow flag, once again, flies on the Pro Stocks.
How many people saw Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise? You remember the scene? He's at Daytona, and he's back behind the wheel running his buddy's car, and he's running at the back of the pack because he doesn't have any confidence, and there's a wreck in front of him, and all he sees is smoke, and he closes his eyes and makes it through. Well, that's exactly what Wayne Dion just did. As the car spun around him, he closed his eyes. Well, I don't think he closed his eyes, but it looked like it. Squeezed through the pack, and not a scratch on the Dell's Lemonade Fantasia Tanning Studios 99 to make it through that. Looked like he was going to get collected along with the 12 of Bobby Pellin and the others that were down there, the 87 of Mike Cavallero. But he made it through. Matt Dewey, Billy Manchester made it through. And we're back under caution one more time. Dewey looks like he's got a right front tire that has gone down. He brings that car pit side. The Gary S. Sager Builders, J. Fisk Excavating, Alameda Construction, DeRocha Nurseries, number 02. As the NASCAR officials sort out the lineup.
So if you like the pro stock action that you're going to see tonight, you can join us here next week for twin 30-lappers for the pro stocks at the Seekonk Speedway. We've got a schedule to keep with the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series. We have to run a certain amount of races during the season so our competitors can benefit from the NASCAR Weekly Regional Points Fund. Regional Points Fund going out this year to the Seekonk Speedway when they took on the NASCAR sanctioning at the beginning of the 2000 season. In a little over a lap and a half, Alan McClure is going to bring us back to the green flag with Jeff Goodrow alongside for the ride. Then it's Tom Scully in row number 2, Vinny Anarumo, Wayne Dion, Freddie Estelle, Billy Manchester, the 41 of Lenny Ellis, the 38 of Keith Morrow, the 24 of Radical Rick Martin. Right behind him is the 48 of Chad, the 46 of Chad Chase.
Skip Shoemaker, Dick Houlihan back out onto the racetrack. I believe Houlihan is -2 to the leaders. Matt Dewey is back out. He is still on the lead lap. Skip Shoemaker there as well. Looks like the field is not lined up properly as Bobby Pelland is out of line. And Steve Grant, our chief starter, is going to head trackside to sort out the lineup. Looks like the lineup is just about all set with 8 laps complete. And as the team driver sort out the lineup, Mike Cavallaro, Bobby Tripp, Matt Dewey, now with the rear of the field after running up towards the front of the field. Alan McClure, Jeff Goodrow on the front row. Tom Scully and the 11 of Vinny Anarumo, row number 2, Bobby Pelland and Wayne Dion up to row number 3.
Steve Grant letting them know at the line the next time by we're going to be going green. You can see the excitement in his actions because very, very soon these drivers are going to put their foot to the floor and we're going to be racing once again. Alan McClure, once again, your leader, continuing to bring the field down on all of those good restarts. He's been getting a good jump on Jeff Goodrow each time they come off the 4th corner. The field's going to start to bunch up as they roll into turn number 3 and 4. They're going to pick up the throttle. You can hear him now. And Alan McClure gets another good restart.
Off of turn number 4, they come across at the pace. Scully and Goodrow battle for second behind them. A host of cars looking for some running room. You got Vinny Anarumo battling to the outside of Bobby Pelland. You've got Wayne Dion to the outside of Billy Manchester. As everybody tries to gain some spots, McClure sets the pace off at 2.
Good run from McClure all the way from Gary, New Hampshire. He continues to show the way around the speedway. And now Tom Scully gets a tap from behind. He turns around in front of the competition. Everyone dives and makes evasive moves to avoid him. Tough break for Tom Scully. He is very, very upset behind the wheel of that automobile.
So the pro stocks are real tough tonight. Last week we saw 230 lappers with minimal damage and caution flags. Tonight they're just flying fast and furious. So Tom Scully does have to go to the rear of the field, but you got to wonder where he's going as he rolls up towards the front where he was running. And it looks like he's going to try to squeeze back into line. That's not going to happen, as he did bring out the caution flag. Chief starter Steve Grant, trackside. Well, the NASCAR officials have called Jeff Goodrow as part of that incident, so he's got to go to the back of the field as well. And look who's up front. You've got Alan McClure and Vinny Anarumo on the front row. Bobby Pellin and Wayne Dion. As we resort out the lineup one more time. So ticking them off one lap at a time. 9 laps complete now. As the field will look like this. Alan McClure, Bobby Pellin on the front row. Vinny Anarumo, Billy Manchester, row number 2. Wayne Dion and Freddie Estelle. 5th and 6th, Lenny Ellis. Leads the cars that have been involved in something or other. In 7th, Rick Martin 8th, Chad Chase 9th, and the 44 of Alan McClure, the top 10. The only other car out there behind them that has not been involved in something is the 38 of Keith Morrow, coming off his best ever finish last Saturday night, finishing 6th in the 2nd Pro Stock 30-lap feature event. He'll join in just behind the 46 of Chad Chase. Vinny Anarumo's got something dragging on that machine. Looks like he may have a tire going down on the right front. He's going to head pit side. That'll move everybody up one behind.
And that's a tough break for Vinny Anarumo. Was running very fast in the field early on. He was running up in the front of the pack throughout the race. I mean, of course, the race is only about 6 to 8 laps in. But, of course, as you know, Vinny Anarumo, a veteran, a KG veteran of the Seekonk Speedway. He's 1 year before in the past. But Steve Gregg is up in the flag stand. All 4 corner lights are out. And once again, very, very shortly, we're going to be back to green flag action.
And Anarumo getting no courtesy laps from the officials. We'll see if he can make it back out. Charlie at the tunnel is waiting for his arrival. And we are ready to go. Alan McClure, Bobby Pellin, Billy Manchester, Wayne Dion, row number 2. Anarumo gets caught in the pits as the field goes off a forward back underway.
Coming down the front straightaway, McClure once again with a real good jump in the restart. There goes Billy Manchester in the Rainbow Reynolds, number 95, to move underneath the number 12 as they go down into the corner to Bob Pellin Jr. stuck up on the outside.
Pellin tries to hang up in second. He's got Manchester working the bottom. Here comes Estelle down to the bottom, looking for some racing room. Bobby Tripp goes around off on turn number 2. The 87 of Mike Cavallero, the 17 of Ray Parrott, the 02 of Matt Dewey, all involved off of turn number 2. And, yep, you guessed it, yellow's back out.
Well, Kevin, it looks like it's just going to be one of those nights with the Pro Stocks. They're having their trouble tonight. Everyone a little bit anxious, a little bit on edge. Of course, they all want to win. However, you can't win it all in the first lap.
First lap, or the second lap, or the third lap, or the fourth lap. We're up to the 10th lap now. And, you know, like I said a minute ago, clicking them off one at a time as these guys are just not running up to their potential. Keith Morrow heads towards the pits. Looks like the 81 of Bobby Tripp will head there as well. As what is up with the guys out on the racetrack? They just can't seem to get into a rhythm. And like we mentioned earlier, it's getting towards the end of the season. Points are very critical right now. You ask any of these drivers and they'll deny it. Well, we're not concentrating on the points. We're looking for the wins, they'll tell you. The wins bring points, which is true to a point. But if you're running second with 5 laps to go, and you're not sure if you got a clean shot to get around to the front, you take the chance when you know you're not going to get past. Now, the wind's nice, but those 48 points per second are a lot better than getting caught up into a mishap and finding yourself deeper in the pack. The field gets the crossover signal one more time. McClure just toasted Pellin off the start. We'll see if Pellin can catch up this time as we're getting ready to go again. McClure, Pelland, Manchester, Dion, Estelle, Ellis, Martin, Chase, Rosenfield, and Dewey, the top 10 cars. Tripp back out of the pits. And we're getting ready to roll one more time. 10 laps complete. Can this be 11?
Well, we're going to hope it can be 11, 12, 13, and from then on, because Alan McClure is going to restart him as they come off the fourth corner. Bob Pelland hanging tough in there. Doesn't let McClure get that much of a jump on the restart.
This time, Pelland hangs with McClure off of 2, double wide for the lead. McClure down to the bottom. Pelland up high as they roll into 3. Cavallero smoking off at turn number 2. Give the lead to McClure one more time.
Alan McClure showing the way with the Hope Street Auto Center. Number 12, Bob Pelland Jr. are running in the second spot. Billy Manchester and Wayne Dion going side by side for the third spot. Dion now goes up to the top side of the speedway in the Camtasia Studios, number 99. He gets past some of the competition. Lenny Ellis now loops the car in turn number 2, up at the top of turn number 2.
Hey, I think we got 2 in that time, guys. Caution flag is out again for Lenny Ellis, who got together with Rick Martin in the second corner. And it looks like Ellis is going to head it pit side this time.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you like anything that you've seen here tonight, or if you like one of the races that you've seen here tonight, you can go down to the bottom of the announcer's tower and talk to the couple at the red truck, which are Frank and Helen, who are from Frank and Helen's Home Videos. They cover all the action that's here each and every week from the Seekonk Speedway, and they use their footage for what gets shown at the Pub 99 on the Tuesday nights, which is located over in Seekonk. Frank and Helen's videos are here week in and week out. They are troopers, ladies and gentlemen. They hang in there for all the special events and the special shows that we do show here at the Seekonk Speedway. So remember, if you need a video, talk to Frank and Helen's videos.
So that time, we did get 2 in. How about that? Now it's 2 at a time. So let's try to get it with 12 laps in. Let's try to get the final 23 at a time. How about that? That'll make some people happy, especially the folks in the stands and even the drivers, because, you know, it's only a 35-lap race. How much fuel do you put in the car for a 35-lap race? Do you fill up the tank in anticipation of a race like this? Or do you put, I don't know, half a tank in? Or just enough what you think you're going to need? Well, you got to wonder what they calculated, because they've probably gone 50-plus laps under caution already.
The thing is, with a race car, they do take fuel burning off as a consideration of the car's handling. A driver can kind of anticipate what the car is going to do during the course of the race, and a lot of crew chiefs will tell you that you want to start off with a slight push, because as the rear fuel that's located in the rear of the car starts to burn off, the car gets more and more loose. So you want to start with a nice medium where you push a little bit in the beginning, and as the fuel burns off and the back end of the car gets lighter and lighter, the car will start to come to the driver.
Well, Steve Grant was down there chatting with our current points champion, not our current points leader, Rick Martin, and he has told Mr. Martin that he will join Mr. Ellis at the rear of the field, and this is just getting a little too much as we're going to go single file restarts. It's not that we want to, but with just 12 laps in, we've been out here for, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes already, and they're just not getting it done. So Martin pulls out of line. He's going to make an appeal as he pulls up towards the pit tunnel and try to get his case stated as our chief pit steward, Dennis Carrier, is down there to talk to Mr. Martin. So a single file restart, and we'll see if we can finally get some rhythm in. What's happening is you're not getting into a rhythm. Everybody's looking for that extra inch, that extra position, that extra room on the bottom or the top, and it's very tough to find right about now, and they're still having problems getting to where they need to be. Up front, Alan McClure hasn't had a problem. He's led from the drop of the green. 12 laps or 30 minutes, whatever it is. Bobby Pellin, Wayne Dion, Billy Manchester, Freddie Estelle have all kept their machines clean. They haven't gotten into any incidences. Everybody else has visited the pits at least once. Single file, McClure now brings him down into 3. Steve Grant lets him roll off a 4. We're back underway.
As they go down into turn number 1, bumper to bumper, McClure continues to lead the way. It's Pellin Jr., the 99 of Dion, Manchester, Estelle, Chase, Matt Dewey, the 31 of Goodrow, and the 44 of Jimmy Rosenfield. That is your top 10 as they come across the line.
The 14 of Estelle sparking off in turn number 2. Chase squeezes and pushes his way by down the bottom. Here comes Matt Dewey to follow through up front. McClure sets a pace battle for second. Look at Dion. Drop to the top side and look for second.
Wayne Dion is a man on a mission. He knows he's got a lot of laps left in this event to start trying that outside groove and to work that second groove into his advantage where he can get past the number 12 of Bob Pellin Jr., who occupies the second spot. Spin down on the inside of the speedway. The 14 of Freddie Estelle loops the car as he tried to get it back out onto the track.
So Estelle decides he's going to bring out the umpteenth caution of this event. And now he's going to head pit side, and that leaves just a handful of cars. Billy Manchester has the hood popping up on the left side. That's going to garner a black flag. He'll have to head pit side. So the top 3 cars are the only unscathed machines out on the racetrack right now. So Chad Chase, after being involved in that incident in turn 1 with a lot of, well, sheet metal damage, I guess it doesn't look too severe, he'll restart 4th. Matt Dewey, quietly involved in a couple of incidences, he'll restart 5th. Jeff Goodrow, who had gotten together with Tom Scully earlier, will restart next on the field as Rick Martin rolls around the outside. Field gets the 1-to-go signal as Martin sits over in turn number 3. He'll restart where he belongs. 15 that time. We got 3 in that time. How about that? Maybe this time we'll get 4, then 5, then 6, and finally get the last ones in. So we have 15 laps in, 20 laps remain. Steve Grant ready to give him the 1-to-go signal. Freddie Estelle back out of the pits at the rear. He is going to be a bear to watch from the back of the field.
Well, one driver that's going to be charging hard is Neon Wayne Dion at the Fantasia Studios. Dell's Lemonade, number 99. He's watching that second groove start to come in as the race goes on. He's famous for going up to the outside of the track to make a lot of his passes on his competition and make his way to the front of the field. We're getting set to go back to the restart. Alan McClure is going to bring the field down. 35 laps is the set distance, and we're back to green flag racing.
Martin starting on the outside, not single file. And we're going to have to wait to see what the official word is on that. Up front, McClure sets the pace. Pellin, Dion. Chase up to 4th. Dion takes another look to the outside, looking for second off of 4.
As they come off the 4th corner, Pellin holds Dion back. But Dion, very, very strong on the outside, goes down the back straight away with a nose up on the number 12 of Bob Pellin, Chad Chase, and Matt Dewey. They sit inside the top 5, and they're watching it all happen.
We have finally reached the halfway point. If it were to rain now, it would finally be official. Up front, McClure leads up, but here comes Dion on the outside. Pellin trying to hold on down to the bottom into 3, 1, and 2. Pellin gets sideways. Dion now sets his sights on the leader.
Bob Pellin losing valuable momentum coming off the corner. Neon Wayne Dion was able to take it away. He now is watching and hunting down the 77 of Alan McClure. McClure has led from the drop of the green flag from the outside of row number 1, and he continues to lead as the field goes into 3 and 4. The top 5 is in a bunch as they come across the line.
Well, Dion settles in behind McClure for about a lap and a half to try to set him up. What is he doing? Where's his strong points, his weak points? Pellin gets sideways down the back straightaway as Chase takes away position number 3. Dion decides he's going to go around the 77.
It's going to be a good battle between two cagey veterans, Neon Wayne Dion and Alan McClure. McClure in the Palm Landscaping, number 77, can taste victory just a few laps away as he's got 99. Wayne Dion knocking on the outside. Dion using that third groove out there, trying to find the fast way around.
Double wide off of turn number 4. After straight, McClure has him by a half a nose. Dion evens up into 1 and 2. Down the back, straight away they go. Still double wide. Chase now works the outside, takes away third from Bobby Pellin.
Bob Pellin dropping back just a little bit as Matt Dewey looks to the inside of him. Tripp now coming up into the mix. He's going to make it a 6-car battle. He runs to the tail end of that group as they come across the line. Your two leaders hit the 10 lap to go mark with Alan McClure on the inside, and on the high side is the 99 of Neon Wayne Dion.
Dion edging out in that second groove, looking for win number 4. Off the fourth corner they come. Dion has him by a half a length at that lap. Off into McClure, Donald's back down the bottom. Dion gets sideways. Billy Manchester spins down to the infield. Your leaders come through 4.
Yellow flag flies on the field. Billy Manchester turned around backwards in the bottom of turn number 4. Yellow light now comes on, and your new leader, he took the lead just a few laps ago by just a bumper, is the Dell's Lemonade Rhode Island Drive Shaft number 99 for Neon Wayne Dion. He moves Alan McClure back to the runner-up spot. A good run for Chad Chase, who was involved in that altercation earlier, to come to the 3rd position on the Speedway. Matt Dewey, he's been hanging tough in there all race long. We haven't really spoke too much about him. He started 10th on the field. He's already made his way up into the 4th spot, and Matt Dewey is another guy out there who has been able to go through this race unscathed.
Well, Matt's hit the pits area a couple of times. He's had a flat tire. 3 drivers have yet to visit the pits. And while it's not mandatory, but you might think it is, the way these guys have been going up and down the tunnel there as the 31 of Jeff Goodrow rolls back out of the pit area. Martin is up there now getting service on the G. Lopes Construction 24. As he has absolutely struggled in that machine since he and Chad Chase got together way early on in this event. The caution lights are out. We're ready to roll. Dion, McClure, Chase, and Dewey, the top 4 cars. Grant looks him over. Dion brings him down slow, and bumper tag in the corner deep in the pack, and this one's going to come back.
Couple of guys going to restart early. However, the 77 of Alan McClure going back and forth. Now the yellow flies once again, slowing the field down. That restart was not to their liking.
Well, Dion brought him down so slow, trying to play cat and mouse with Alan McClure and the rest of the field, that McClure just ran out of space as he was rolling and dropped to the bottom. That's a no-no. In a single file restart, you cannot pass until after the start-finish line. You cannot drop the pass before the start-finish line. So it'll come back. Deep in the pack as the field try to close up as you almost have the 00 of Dabrowski running into the 44 of Jimmy Rosenfield. I know it looks like he might have, but that damage has been there for a little bit on Rosenfield's 44.
Tough night for a lot of the competitors and the crews. They're going to be working hard during the week to get the cars repaired. However, we're going back to the restart one more time. Neon Wayne Dion sets the pace as we get the green flag.
Down at the 1, Dion sets the pace. Chase now takes a look to the outside of McClure. McClure gets the advantage off at 2. Dewey closes in the battle for 4th. Here comes Bobby Tripp.
Bobby Tripp coming up to the top 5. He was involved in a couple of skirmishes early race on. However, he goes to the outside of Bob Pellin Jr. in the number 12. He makes his way into that coveted top 5 position in the main event.
Dion closing in on win number 4. The 77 of McClure keeps pace with the 99, just about a half a length back. The 46 of Chase, the 02 of Matt Dewey run nose to tail. The top 4 off of 4. Battle is for 5th right now. The 81 of Bobby Tripp working the outside of Bobby Pellin, and the 12 they run double wide down the back stretch.
Side by side into turn number 3. Tripp has got a leg up on the 12 as they make their way off the 4th corner. However, Bob Pellin Jr. battling back on the high side. He's trying to get the advantage on the Hydro-Stop roofing number 81. The top 5 are still side by side going through 3 and 4.
Dion still has only a half a length advantage on McClure. Does McClure have anything left in that white Pontiac to get by the 99? I don't think so, as Dion went around him on the outside. Unless there's a problem on the 99, Dion looks to take home win number 4. He rolls that car into 1 and 2 with 3 laps to go.
3 more laps to go for the Dell's Lemonade, number 99 of Neon, Wayne Dion. However, he's not pulling away from Alan McClure in the number 77. They've been given the twin sticks, or the popsicle sticks as they call them, at the line. Only 2 more laps to go. The top 4, however, is bumper to bumper. If somebody miscues, another driver is going to be there to capitalize on it.
White flag out, final time around. Dion rolls into 1. Sid McClure took a look to the inside, couldn't get it done. The 14 of Estelle right there. Dion slides down to the bottom. Checkered flag is out, and Wayne Dion picks up number 4. Alan McClure finishes second with the 46 of Chad Chase, the 02 of Matt Dewey, and the 81 of Bobby Tripp rounding out the top 5. And what many people will call an absolute marathon, taking down the win. Driving the Tantasia, Tanning Studios, Rhode Island Drive Shop, Copperfield's Lounge, Dell's Lemonade, car number 99. How about a big round of applause for Neon, Wayne Dion. Well, don't go away yet. We've still got one more event on the docket. The XI Short Track Sportsman Division getting ready to roll out. 25 laps the distance for these drivers, as Dion picks up the checkered flag for time number 4. You got to wonder how much fuel he has left in that machine, if anything, after that event. I think they ran more laps tonight than they did last week, and Dion, it's only going to take, well, what people call a half a victory lap, as he'll go back around through 1 and 2 one more time. Celebrate this one with the fans up in the corners, as he can see the smile on everybody's face, and he'll come back around. The sportsman cars roll out onto the racetrack for their 25-lap main event, and now Dion has finished his victory 3/4 of a twice lap, I guess you'll call that one. But how about it one more time? A big round of applause for Neon, Wayne Dion. The sportsman division roll out 25 laps the distance for their XI CompuTrust main event, and starting on the pole, the Club Fantasies Caribbean Tans number 9, it's Paul Vaness. Outside of Vaness out of Westport, Mass, the NAC Security Systems BOC Gases number 70 for Glenn Lawton. 2 rows back on the inside out of Block Island, Rhode Island, the Ballards Inn, the Beachhead Restaurant number 13 for Robbie Murphy. Outside of Murphy out of Seekonk, Mass, the Advanced Automotive Reed's Produce number 10-0 for Mike Tracy. 3 rows back on the inside out of Swansea, Mass, the Ed Holiak Auto Sales Broadway Auto Parts number 56 for Linwood Cowan. Outside of Cowan out of Coventry, Rhode Island, the VTDM Delivery 2 Guys Auto number 88 for Kenny Bamford. Starting 5th out of Mansfield, Mass, the Viking Sheet Metal Powermatic Car Wash number 99, it's the Fireball Glenn Young. Outside of Young out of Asona, Mass, in the Freetown Sand and Gravel Bristol County Marshall Homes number 57, it's Dean Petty. Car number 32 will roll off next. Behind the wheel of that machine, it's Bill Goodrow. Outside of Goodrow, out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, the Custom Auto Body Spumoni's Restaurant number 71, it's Jerry Degasperry Jr. Starting 11th out of Fall River, Mass, the T. Cabral Electric Belanger & Sons Excavating number 6 for Ed Gannon III. Outside of Gannon out of Heidelberg, Mass, the DJ's Lounge, R&F Transport number 2 for Dave Titus. James Lawrence rolls up lucky 13th out of Somerset, Mass. He drives the number 81. Outside of him out of Taunton, Mass, our points leader, the R&F Transport Random Auto Sales number 3 for Kenny Spencer. Rob Doobie drives the Instant Plumbing St. Anne's and St. Anne Street Polar Center Club number 44. It's Rob Doobie, and outside of Doobie in the number 26, the G. Lopes Constructions RC Auto Service Machine for Peter Fernandez. Ron Reed rolls off 17th in the WE Freight Trucking Wesco Oil number 89. Outside of him, the Douglas A. King Builders National Lumber number 10 for Scott Dion. Leroy Hudson rolls off next in the PR Recycling Auto Sure Insurance number 02. Outside of him in the 8, it's George Simpson. Sean Woodward in the 28, the Butch Merritt Weldon J&R Towing Machine. Kevin Fulton in the Southeastern Hardwood Floors number 17. We are underway for the green flag as Paul Vaness and Glenn Lawton bring them down.
Glenn Lawton moving to the outside of Paul Vaness going down the back straightaway with the VOC gases number 70. He leads it in turns number 3 and 4. It's Vaness in second, Mike Tracy in third, Roddy Murphy in fourth. Linwood Cowan rounds out your top 5 with the sign man Kenny Bamford going side by side with Linwood Cowan on the back straightaway.
Down the back stretch of 13 of Roddy Murphy drops to the bottom, takes that third spot away from the 9 of Vaness. Vaness gets caught on the outside. The 0 of Tracy sets his sights on the 70 of Glenn Lund, who's pulled away to a 6-length lead over the 0.
They come off the fourth corner. The 0, Mike Tracy, running very, very strong, trying to chase down the number 70 of Glenn Lawton. Robbie Murphy in third. Linwood Cowan going side by side with Paul Vaness, and then right outside the top 5, the number 99 of Glenn Fireball Young, as he now tries to move underneath the number 9 of Paul Vaness. They all go down into turn number 1, and moving to the outside of the speedway is the 88 of Kenny Bamford. Everyone starts to stack up behind them.
Down off at turn number 4. Lawton continues to set the pace. Tracy, Murphy, Cowan, and Vanessa, top 5. Battle for 6. Given to the 99 of Young as he starts to squeeze out from underneath the 88. Billy Goodrow filling the hole up down at 3 and 4.
Everyone's starting to run single file, the top 5, single file. However, from there on back, everybody's scrambling for position as Goodrow is underneath Kenny Bamford. Dean Petty also trying to follow suit. And the number 6 of Eddie Gannon, and contact is made right there. Dean Petty gets turned around. Cars go scattering. A few cars jump up in the air. Rod Doobie bounces over someone's wheel. And the number 71 of Jerry D. Gaspari is spun to the bottom of turn number 4.
So the first caution is out. To the Exide Short Track Late Model Division. They got 6 laps in. I guess they could teach the Pro Stocks a thing or two. As the first caution flag flies, Glenn Lawton, Mike Tracy will restart on the front row. Tracy winless so far this season, and just about all along as he looks for some racing room. For the Sportsman Division, closing down on the season as well. They have 2 more events after tonight. And the final 2 weeks will crown our 2,000-point champion for the Sportsman Division. And this is one of the closest divisions we have. Coming into tonight's racing action, Kenny Spencer leads the standings by 15 points over James Lawrence and Dave Titus. Right now, Kenny Spencer sits behind Dave Titus and James Lawrence, but 15 points is, well, with 3 races remaining, we'll include this one for all intensive purposes. That 15 points is not very much. And don't forget that in the heat event, they run for points there as well. It's 15 points to in the heat, 14 for second, and -1 on back to the rear of the field. So these points are not accurate as of right now, but only coming into tonight's racing action.
So the track crew is down in turn number 4, sprinkling down the Speedy Dry to soak up any oil or moisture that may be down on the track surface. They want the cars to race on clean pavement, or as close to clean pavement as they can get, as the Speedy Dry is laid down to soak up the oil. The number 70 of Glenn Lawton leads the way. He's had some trouble with that automobile. He's had to re-clip or snub the front end of that automobile a couple of times. He bent the front clip on that car. The chassis has been twisted a few times. And tonight, he leads the feature event. He was leading the heat race earlier in the day, but he lost power in the number 70 coming off the second corner, which gave the win over Linwood Cowan in the heat race. Now he's running at the front of the field in the feature event. Hopefully whatever problems he had on that automobile, they'll right it again. And he continues to show the way in this Sportsman feature event.
Glenn Lawton has had several strong runs this season, but is yet to visit victory lane. He spent 1 week missing the entire night of racing because in the practice sessions, something broke. The drive shaft, the transmission, something broke. As a matter of fact, he said he could not find the drive shaft for that number 70. And that will definitely put you behind the 8 ball, especially in the point standings. And that puts him 10th coming into tonight, 122 points behind the leader. So for all intents and purposes, Glenn Lawton is out of the point championship chase, but still looking to pick up that first win of the 2000 season. Want to wish a happy birthday to Mark Williams from his friends and family. Mark celebrating his 30th birthday here with us this afternoon and this evening. Very happy birthday, Mark. Glad you could join us on what is turning out to be an absolute beautiful Saturday night. 6 laps into this 25-lap CompuTrust Exide Battery Corporation Sportsman main event. Will Glenn Lawton be able to hold on as the caution light is extinguished? And Glenn Lawton and Mike Tracy will bring him down. Robbie Murphy, Linwood Cowan, row number 2. Paul Vaness and the Fireball, row number 3. And we're ready to roll. Kidding? Steve Grant has got the green flag in his hand. Waits for the field to hit turn number 3. Tracy looking for an advantage. Lawton is the one who sets the pace. He gets the jump. Green flag is out. Lawton leads the field down into 1.
Good jump on the restart for the NAC Security Systems, number 70 of Glenn Lawton. Robbie Murphy, the rookie, doing very, very well out there. He moves into the 2nd spot, playing bumper tag with Glenn Lawton. As they come off the 3rd corner, Mike Tracy in the 0 runs in 3rd. All the rest 4th with Linwood Cowan up on the outside to round out your top 5. But Cowan is hanging tough in there, trying to take the 4th position away as the caution flag flies on the track. We're going to slow everyone down.
Car number 28, Sean Woodward, sits down in the grass. So still at lap number 6, as no laps were completed that time. And the field gets the restart lineup. Sean Woodward is just about where he was running when he spun, so that's not going to affect the restart lineup at all. And Glenn Lawton and the 0 of Mike Tracy will bring him down for the green flag one more time. 19 laps remain in this CompuTrust Exide Batteries Exide Corporation Short Track Sportsman Division main event. Lawton and Tracy on the front row. Steve Grant looking to let him go this time. Lawton brings him down into 3. Tracy looking for an advantage. Murphy trying to stay with the point setter as they roll off at turn number 4. Lawton gets the jump one more time, but look at Tracy hang with him on the front stretch.
They're door to door as they go down into turn number 1. Lawton's on the bottom, Tracy on the high side. Robbie Murphy underneath Tracy now as they go into turn number 3. Robbie Murphy, a good run for him. He is a rookie in this division as he now puts pressure and he runs in the 3rd spot.
Down off the 2nd corner, Murphy and Tracy double wide for position number 2. Down at the bottom, the red 13 of Robbie Murphy. Up high, Mike Tracy in the black 0. Off the corner, they come, give the advantage to Murphy. Linwood Cowan, Glenn Young, both looking for a way to follow through.
It's a battle for 2nd spot on back between Murphy, Tracy, Cowan, the 99 of Glenn Young. Vanessa's in there along with Goodrow and Kenny Bamford. Everyone's in the mix as they're all fighting for position as they come down the front straightaway.
Down off at turn number 2. Mike Tracy sliding back on the outside. Linwood Cowan now puts the Ed Holiak under yourselves 56 Chevrolet Illumina down on the bottom, looking for some racing room. Off the corner they come. Murphy sets his sights on the leader as they head down into 3.
They're all down into 3, and Murphy's holding up the line on the low end of the speedway, and that's allowing the number 7 of Glenn Lawton to start to creep away from the rest of the field. Murphy now feeling the pressures of Linwood Cowan right behind him. Cowan's got a couple of feature event wins, but when they cross the line this time by, they're going to reach the halfway point in this Excise short track feature event.
Cross flags halfway by, and a battle for second is hot and heavy. We've seen these two go at it several times. Cowan gives the 13 a shot off the corner. He gets underneath. Murphy tries to shut the door. Sparks fly down into one. Cowan gets a shot. Murphy gives him a shot. Here comes Young on the bottom.
Glenn Young, watching all of this happen, is capitalizing on everyone bumping and banging because they're all losing momentum, and Young is finding the holes, and he's starting to make his way up into the top three, and now he's got Linwood Cowan right in front of him. He sets his sights on Cowan. Watch for Young to go to the front.
Linwood holding on to second. Young following in his footprints off at turn number 4. Behind them, Paul Viness and Robbie Murphy battle. Mike Tracy looks to make it 3 wide in the corner. He backs off the throttle. Jeff Goodrow in the 32, Billy Goodrow in the 32 looks to the bottom, looking for some running room there.
Good battle right there. All of those cars are all in the mix. Goodrow looking for a hole to get underneath Paul Viness. Now almost 3 wide going into turn number 1. Viness slams the door. Another car stuck up on the outside of the number 32 of Goodrow. That's Mike Tracy. They've been going side by side for the past 4 or 5 laps. Robbie Murphy, the number 13, is starting to fade back from his 3rd place running position.
Off the corner they come. Viness picks up fourth. Murphy tries to shut the door. Billy Goodrow's there. Here comes Mike Tracy back on the outside. Gaining a couple of spots. Gets by Gannon. Gets by Billy Goodrow. Sets his sights back on Robbie Murphy in the 13.
With all of this going on, your top 3 competitors, Glenn Lawton, the 56 of Linwood Cowan, and the number 99 of Glenn Fireball Young, have all taken off. They're on a breakaway from the rest of the field. They're into the lapping process. They go underneath Sean Woodward down the back straightaway, and if it stays like this, Glenn Lawton could come out the victory with only 5 laps to go.
5 more times around. Glenn Lawton looking for his first win. Leads the pack off of turn number 2, but Linwood Cowan has all but caught him. He's 2 lengths behind as they hit turn number 3 and 4. Off the corner they come. Cowan closes it into a car length. If Lawton has anything left in that machine, he's got to put it down now and try to get away.
Handful of laps remain. The top 3 are starting to get bumper to bumper. Paul Velez separates that front group from the group on back. He got away from Robbie Murphy. Murphy now feeling the pressures of the number 32 of Goodrow. Now there goes Linwood Cowan underneath the 70 of Glenn Lawton with only 2 more laps to go. It's a side-by-side race at the front of the field. The 70 leaves the door open on the bottom, and we've got caution. Rob Murphy gets spun around in turns number 3 and 4. And this is going to set it up to be a last-ditch dive for it at the end of the feature event. It's going to go down with just a few laps to go.
So Robbie Murphy, who's running in the top 5 early in the event, goes around in turn 3. Sean Woodward is involved in that one as well. And with just 3 laps to go, Linwood Cowan was giving Glenn Lawton the race of the night. Got a run on the inside looking for win at number 3. Lawton just got the break he may have needed with 22 laps complete. So it'll be a green, white checker finish for the Sportsman Division, the X-Side Short Track, a late model Sportsman Division. And these guys, for the first time ever in 4 weeks away, have their first ever 100-lap open competition event. Now last year, they had their first ever open comp event. It was a 50-lapper at the DAV. We'll have that again come October 7th and 8th. This year, they get a 100-lap open comp event to see what they can do. Drivers have been lobbying for it. Fans, officials, and team members have all been lobbying for this 100-lap event for many years. It has finally come to fruit. The rules have been posted. The payoffs have been posted. 100 laps for the Sportsman Division on Saturday night, September. It's a Saturday night, August, we've already passed it. September the 23rd. On that night, the Street Stocks will also have a 50-lap shootout, open competition style for them as well. So don't miss the month of August. On the 2nd, Twin 30s for the Pro Stocks. On the 9th, a 50-lap for the Pro Stocks, and we crown all 5 champions. The next week, we've got a Pro Stock Open on the 16th, 100 laps. And on the following week, a 100-lap Sportsman Open Cup and a 50-lap Street Stock Open Cup event. What a month September is going to be. You don't want to miss it, and you don't want to miss the final 2 laps as Glenn Lawton and Linwood Cowan to bring him down for the green white checker. Cowan on the outside, looking for the jump, but give it to Lawton at the strip. And look at that, Cowan gets into the back bumper, pushes the 70 of Glenn Lawton all the way into turn number 1. The top 2 drivers take each other out, and that gives a lead to Glenn Young.
There's a tough break right there on the restart. The 70 of Glenn Lawton, like in the heat race, faltered a little bit, and as they came up to the line, he lost power, and Linwood Cowan got into the back of him. The rest of them, all behind him, started to train. They were pushing the cars down the front straightaway. When everyone started to break away, a few cars went scattering, and as you see, a collision ensued.
Well, Lawton did get the jump on the restart. Cowan decided to settle in behind, and when he did not back off when Glenn Lawton did going into the corner, and that's what happened there. Cowan heads towards the pits. Lawton will follow through as well. Sean Woodward involved in this one, too. The 89 of Ron Reed and the 8 of George Simpson involved down the bottom. Now, I want to give a tip of the hat to 3 teams here tonight, not because of their performance tonight, but for being here. The 26 of Peter Fernandez, he's had some damage and not had good luck all season long. The 89 of Ron Reed, who was involved in this incident, and the 99 of Glenn Young. They went to New Hampshire last night, raced the race. They got home late. I can guarantee you it was later than me, and I got home at 3 o'clock. They worked all night to get it ready for tonight. And I just want to say good job by all 3 of these teams for getting ready. Reed not having luck, Fernandez not having luck. It looks like Glenn Young is picking up their luck as well as his, as he leads with 2 laps to go.
We have that happening with the man on the front straightaway. That is moved up. The 32 of Goodrow, the 9 of Paul Vaness, Mike Tracy, and Eddie Gannon. All of these drivers who started mid to rear of the pack at the start of this race have now come up through all of the traffic and through all of the carnage and find these drivers sitting up within the top 5 when we go back to the restart with only a few more laps remaining.
Out comes Kenny Spencer, points leader. Linwood Cowan is packing it up. He has been disqualified for his actions. And I see you don't disagree with that one. So we've still got 2 to go. We've got 2 cars down on the turn 1. The 8 of George Simpson and the in the 89, George Simpson's number 8 going off on the hook. And that's a tough break for Reed and the Countryside Signs, DF Plate Contractors, Wesco Oil, WE Plate Trucking, Chevrolet back with us this season after taking a season off. And George Simpson running in his rookie season in the Sportsman Division. Not the way he was looking to end his afternoon.
Cleanup still continues. With only a handful of laps to go, and as you see, we've got 1 car going off on the dreaded double hook. This is not what a driver ever wants to see his car towed off the speedway as, because It's not very easy to put in the trailer when it's looking like that.
It could be very simple as a few flat tires. It could be as severe as a lot of bent front and rear suspension. But you know he's got some serious front end sheet metal damage as well. Don't know what else is broken up there. Kind of looks like a night of the nines. Some good runs in all of our divisions by drivers with nines. The 99 taking down the Pro Stock win, and the 99 leading the Sportsman division. Well, on Tuesday night, you can meet us at Pub 99. Stop down and watch the tapes on the screen, courtesy of Frank and Helen's video. 7 o'clock it all starts. So come on down Tuesday night and enjoy the show as we're about ready to get back to rock and roll. Glenn Young setting the pace. Paul Vaness on the outside. Vaness has been, well, cold in the last few seasons as far as wins are concerned. We'll see if tonight the Rabbit jumps back in behind the wheel with some luck in the 9, or is Glenn Young's luck finally turned?
We're going to find out in just a half a lap. Glenn Young, hot off of a strong run last night, as Kevin said, up at the Lee Speedway. Paul Vaness running up at the front of the field. He had some bad luck in the past few weeks. We're going to see what's going to happen. The green flag flies, and once again, we're underway. The 9 versus the 99 goes down the front straightaway into turn number 1.
Vaness gets the jump. Young's got a battle back down on the inside. Into 3 they go. Twin sticks up in the air. Double wide off of 4. 4 to lead. Vaness can taste it. So can Young off this road. Give it to Vaness. Power half away. Side by side. It's going to be a barn-burner right down to the final flag as the 99 of Glenn Young sneaks a little bit down on the bottom, gets a little bit sideways. Vaness now using the momentum up on the high side to carry his way around to the start-finish line and across the line with the lead. However, he drifts high going into turn number 1. Half a lap to go with the number 99 of Glenn Young off the 4th corner and taking down the win. He wins it in the kids' corner child care. Number 99 over the 32 of Goodrow and the number 9 of Paul Vaness. A good battle. Paul Vaness hung in there right to the final turn, but it was all for naught as coming across the line, taking down this week's feature event win, the Team 99, the Viking Sheet Metal, Kids Corner Child Care, Powermatic Car Wash. Number 99, they call him the Firewall, ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Young. Well, the last 3 laps were worth the price of admission alone. Congratulations, Glenn, on picking up the win. Congratulations to all of our future winners here tonight on CompuTrust Exide Battery Night here at Seekonk Speedway. I want to thank everybody for coming on down. Don't forget, next Saturday night, twin 30-lappers for the Pro Stocks with just 2 weeks left for the points in all of our divisions. I want to thank Exide Batteries for joining us here tonight. I want to thank CompuTrust Computer Systems for joining us and celebrating with us on a beautiful Saturday night of racing. I wonder if Flynn's going to do the same thing Wayne did. Nope, doesn't look like it. I want to thank, of course, all of our weekly supporters, Budweiser, the King of Beers, Pepsi Cola, New England Dodge, and, of course, we want to thank you for coming on down and celebrating a beautiful Saturday night here with us. Don't forget the Pub 99, Tuesday night. You can celebrate with the 99s, Glenn Young and Wayne Dion, and the rest of our feature winners. Double features next week. Points end on the 9th, 2 weeks away. Celebrate Labor Day, Seekonk Speedway style, next Sunday. Don't forget spectator drags, figure 8 races, fireworks, demolition derby, and much, much more on the 3rd of September, Labor Day, Seekonk Speedway style. On behalf of the staff and management here at the Seekonk Speedway, and for the family of the late D'Anthony Venditti, for Derek Penistiglio, I'm Kevin Boucher. Drive carefully. We'll see you here next Saturday night.